All right, here we go. Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Jay the Great here. Welcome back to a daily podcast episode. There are several topics of discussion for this one. As you guys all know, most of you in the Naruto fandom / Boruto fandom, there's been leaks.
What is up, everybody?
Whoops, let me take that off. I have echo. There we go. So there are leaks that have been exposed for Boruto Chapter 81, the first chapter, since the time skip, since the plot twist. So we're getting into some very interesting moments in the narrative. We're going to wait for people to come in before we get to that, though. Allow people to get in here. Let me let the people know, though, we are live on Discord.
What's good, guys?
We got Batman in here as well. Shinobi couldn't make it today, but yeah, we got Batman. What's going on, Prodigy? What's going on, that guy, Lyric? Thanks for coming in.
Apologize for the audio difference, guys. You guys can still hear me crystal clear, but I know it's probably slightly different, but I'm still on a work trip. I'll be back home by tomorrow, so.
Yes, sir. And for you guys that are in the Discord community, Shinobi debated Ken yesterday. It's unlisted on my channel. It's on Shinobi's channel. You can go to his channel or watch it on mine. It was a good debate. Shinobi won. Me and Batman both thought that. If you have any questions on that, you guys can ask us. A few people were having some questions apparently, so give me a second while I let the people know that we are live.
Yeah, I've been watching that. I've been watching Nick Fury's show, Secret Invasion thing. I'm actually liking it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about what 6 was on. That man was tripping because it's actually really, really controversial, and like the shit that's going on, it's very interesting. Like the morality of it.
Yeah.
It's very contentious and like kind of like when it comes to right or wrong type vibes, and it's really interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I need to get back on that. I need to get back on the Marvel. Like check out what Marvel has to offer as far as music.
Yeah, I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a good movie. I did enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, so. Alright. I had Ken winning, but I'm not a judge, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, to be honest, Shinobi just provided more substantiation for his claims, more empirical evidence for his claims. It just better substantiated his overall premise. So, that's why he won. But yeah, folks, feel free to ask any questions. We're going to wait for more people to come in before we do the Boruto Chapter 81 leaks. That's going to be interesting. You guys can already see some manga panels here on the very screen before your very eyes. We got Kawaki here. We got Boruto stomping code, literally. So we're going to discuss that very soon. But until then, while people come in, wait a little longer, a few more minutes. I'll answer some questions that were asked before the stream started. If you want your questions answered in depth, I always say make sure to ask them ahead of time. You can join my Discord or just ask them in the comment section of any video. Preferably these streams, because I usually go here to see if anyone's asked questions. So yeah. But getting straight to it, someone asked me, could Itachi beat Orange Mask Obito? So that's a good question. Right, it's a good question. So this is what I would say about that. There is certainly a strong premise to be made that Itachi could beat Obito, with the following argumentation being this. Itachi, throughout his time in the Akatsuki, serves as a deterrent to Obito as far as infiltrating the Leaf is concerned, and as far as Naruto is concerned, since he is a part of the Leaf, obviously, as evident by Obito reiterating this himself, such as when he says, now that Itachi is gone, that threat is no longer present, and then he says, when he gets nearly eliminated by Itachi's eye, he says, if Itachi would have known more about me, he could have killed me. And then also, additionally, to reinforce that premise, when they're younger, when Itachi comes to him to aid him in the Uchiha massacre, they come to a compromise. This isn't a one-sided negotiation or a negotiation with an A side. This was a compromise between two individuals that respect each other. Obito even asks him, what happens if I don't comply with your wishes? He says, well, I'm going to kill you, and Obito didn't say, okay, prove it. He just said, all right, I'll work with you. That implies respect and possible relativity between the two. So with all those pieces of empirical evidence puzzled together, you can make the argument that Itachi is at least relative to Obito.
And it's like, it also comes like, before you go further, Jay, on like that whole Obito and Itachi, like that's a big thing to realize, because a lot of people try to like either underlook it or be like, oh, that's whatever bullshit, or it's like Obito trying to take advantage or this and that and yada yada, like all this like then speculative or interpretation territory areas where that good luck even proving. But the bottom line is that's a feat itself, because at the end of the day, we do know how Obito is. He doesn't fuck around. He likes to get straight to it. And whenever he's interacting with a lot of people, like it's either his way or the highway. You know what I mean? Like that's all he cares about, just doing what he wants. He fully like dropped everything on a morality compass after the Nine Tails incident. After that whole point, like he just doesn't care anymore. He just wants his plan to be accomplished. So if there's someone in front of him that's going to be in his way and try to fuck with him or whatever, this and that, he's just gonna kill him. Like that's what he's always done throughout the entire show. He's killed everybody that tried to get in his way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Even while he's trying to groom Nagato, all this, like throughout the whole fucking show, he just killed everybody. So with Obito, not Obito, with Itachi doing all of that and kind of pulling up, and the fact that he wasn't willing to like at least be like, well, you can't do anything, or at least to threaten him back, or to actually like start fighting and to see if he actually like. There was none of that. He just like clearly he knew that if he were to engage in that fight, it could be very risky or problematic, or it just be too much. And there has to clearly be some form of relativity. It doesn't mean that necessarily Itachi could kill him or beat him, but he has to have that relativity and scaling, because if not, Obito would have just bitched him. He would have just sunned him. You know what I mean? Or he would have just killed him like he's done with every other fucking ninja in the world.
Yeah. Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So before I begin any further, make sure to hit the sub button. I almost forgot to mention that. The more likes, the better. Thanks to all you guys for the support lately. The last 2 streams have hit over 1K views. If you could just even increase the ratio of like to view to even 10%, that would be great, folks. So make sure, if you can just take a second, hit the like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Really appreciated. But going back to that, even if you compare the dichotomy between Obito and Itachi as opposed to Obito and Nagato, there is a clear indication on who Obito at least respects more. With Itachi, he was a deterrent. With Nagato, from a very early age, he sort of establishes this dichotomy where he is the superior, and he literally walks through Nagato when he's talking to him, like with his kamui, and says, "Yeah, I'm the guy. You work for me now. We're going to establish this plan." You could counter me and say, "Well, it's because his ideology is very appealing to Nagato because of the life that he lived." That's fair, but when you look at all the sets, when you look at all the datums within the set, it's very clear who Obito most likely respected more. And a lot of people argue, well, you can't absolutely prove that. It's not about proving absolutism. Absolutism is impossible, especially in fictional-based realities when talking about ambiguous topics. The real goal is likelihood, not necessarily absolute truth. Absolute truth is very rare. Axiomatic propositions are rare, like 1 + 1 = 2, for example, things like that. That's not common, especially in fictional-based reality or more theoretical discussions. So you got to keep that in mind as well. I saw Blue Beetle. Beetle, it was decent. I need to check out Blue Beetle. I've heard good things about it, man. I gotta check that out for sure.
Yeah, I gotta check it out as well. It's it kind of gives me vibes of like Tom Holland Spider-Man, but DC.
Yeah, exactly. He refers to Nagato as the brat Nagato. I mean, yeah, he calls him his subordinate after he dies.
Yeah,
he's like, man, my subordinate Nagato failed.
Yeah, like in the manga and the anime, Obito treats Nagato more like he's his adopted son, or like someone that like you know what I mean, like he's kind of like in the charge, or he has the edge, or at least when it comes to threat perception, he doesn't really feel like Nagato could really be able to be that much of a danger to him. That's just kind of how he treats him all the time, like when he's talking with him, when he's kind of mocking him, or when during like after Pain fought Jiraiya, he's like, wow, the great Pain, like
exactly.
just everything. It's always to undermine him or to like antagonize him in a way. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh, I'm not scared, or I'm above.
Yeah.
He's always flexing that superior. It's a superiority complex, basically.
Yeah, and even
but it's not that at all. It's all respect or like not crossing certain lines, because he knows he views him as a more dangerous threat.
Yeah, and even in the anime, where you actually hear the pronunciation of statements, as opposed to the manga where people use like, oh, he called Nagato invincible. Well, if you listen to the anime, which I consider canonical besides filler, in the very pronunciation of that statement, he's being sarcastic. When Jiraiya, for example, when they find out Jiraiya destroyed 3 of the 6 paths of pain, he's like, oh, the invincible Pain had trouble with Jiraiya. Like, he's being sarcastic, looking down upon him. He doesn't think he's fodder, but he does think he's inferior to himself. And then again, he calls him a subordinate blatantly after his death, implying superiority there as well. So the dichotomy is very established for both. It's very likely that that's the case. So that's why Itachi
Yeah,
could possibly even defeat Obito. So
yeah, there's even a point where he's like about to send Pain off to capture Naruto and shit. To where he's like talking about, oh, Naruto's gotten pretty strong. Like he took our Kaksu, you know, 3 lives of just one dude, so whatever, blah blah. Do you think it's something you can handle? He starts kind of like trolling him and antagonizing him at that moment too. And then Pain's like he Pain, like I forgot what he said, but it was something like just very neutral, like you're not really to be an ass back or anything.
yeah,
And then Conan's the only person that will actually snap at Obito or like try to disrespect him or antagonize him. She's always like behind Nagato all day, every day, and like so if Obito starts being disrespectful, she'll be disrespectful right back. It's never
yeah,
Pain doing it; it's her. So like when it comes down to it, bottom line is you have this establishment with Obito and how he is with Itachi and Pain. Like, and if you're playing devil's advocate, like the only way you can really go about it is like then you can pull up the Conan stuff where like how she's always doing the same energy but against Obito. We clearly know Obito's over Conan.
yeah,
We actually saw that shit. So like when it comes down to it, you could always argue, well, all because someone may deem someone less of a threat or whatever, yada yada yada, doesn't mean that's actually the case. It could just be their arrogance or whatever. It's not. So you could always argue along those lines. Or two, when you analyze Nagato throughout, he's kind of just going along and doing his thing. But in the anime, and it's also in the manga too, but in the anime, like he also like just says like Yagato's the only true leader. Like he doesn't deem Obito or Madara as a true leader. Like he deems him. He even ends up having his own like separate agenda, like his own plan to with all the tail beasts. Like he's clearly not on the plan of Obito. So there's even like a disconnect at a certain point as well, where if the series kept going, they would have eventually ended up in conflict with each other. So there's certain aspects that you can kind of go around, but once again, it still boils down to the feats, the statements, and higher possibilities. And even if Nagato may think he could be with to contend with Obito as well, or whatever this and that, doesn't mean necessarily he could either. So it just that's basically the simple consensus of it. But it's interesting stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, it's way more stronger narratively when it comes to Itachi and compared to Pain and Nagato.
So essentially, the problem with the antithetical side, despite it being a creatable premise, is that there's more empirical pieces of evidence for Itachi being relative to Obito and for Nagato being inferior to Obito. So essentially, the more empirical pieces of evidence an antithetical stance has, the deeper of a hole you are in to try and get out of that and try to combat and refute that point. So you got to keep that in mind as well when trying to decide what you believe in. Like, what do you think is the truth? Even
like, what would you rather do? Would you rather be on the side of, because like think of it like this way, like a boot versus an ant, right? Obviously the boot should be able to win, right?
Yeah.
So you're really gonna sit here and try to argue how the ant could somehow survive and this and this and that, whatever,
Exactly.
and take the weakest L stance, or would you rather take the strongest W stance of why, a boot against an ant, the boot will more than likely win. You just smash it, it's dead, or some shit. Like, it's just kind of that simple aspect. It's like it's the same thing when it comes to Naruto. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to try to argue and defend the harder stance, or are you going to try to argue, the more stronger and easier stance?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
let's see. Nagato never struck me as someone to defend himself in terms of verbal attacks, which is why he never stopped at Obito. Yeah, that would be a possible refutation. I think he just didn't care about what Obito had to say. Yeah.
He just didn't care.
Yeah, you could argue that. Yeah, you could argue that for sure. But yeah, I think we'll begin the leaks discussion on chapter 81. I'll just give my summary on it. I have a full video on it if you guys want to check that out. It's where I actually discuss the entire manga, like fan translated. I'm not going to do that here.
Let me know when you're done, though, Jay. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, going to chapter 81, we learned some pretty, very, very interesting things in the manga. So, as you can tell by the very screen that you're currently observing, we see Boruto have a physical altercation with Code. That's the only panel we get of it, him stomping Code with his foot. And then we see on the left here, we see Kawaki in the dimension where Naruto and Hinata are currently being held captive. So that's where he is at currently. They're trapped in a frozen time dimension. They can't escape, and only Kawaki has access to that dimension, as we know currently. Now, as far as the power scaling, it's hard to tell I mean, we do see again Boruto stomping Code in the face, but that's just a single event. You could argue that Code was off guard as well, because it does appear to be that way, the way it's illustrated. So it's hard to say he's above Code. He's able to hurt, maybe arbitrarily hurt Code. It didn't kill Code or anything, but it did push him down, I guess. So that's something. As far as Sarada, we see her kick a Ten Tails clone because Code sent Ten Tail clones to Konoha to invade, as I predicted long ago. And that's what's happening now. It seems like they're going to invade Konoha, like I predicted long ago. So Sarada was able to kick one of them and send it flying. So Sarada certainly improved. A Ten-Tail clone is still a Ten-Tail clone at the end of the day. And as we know, the Ten-Tailed Beast is the strongest of all the tailed beasts. And is essentially accumulation of all tailed beasts in one tailed beast. That's why Hagoromo had to split the beast apart, because of the I would say the monopolization of power. He wanted to avoid that, so that's why he split them all up into 9 instead of just one extremely powerful one. So there's some telling things. I will say this pretty safely: they've all developed substantially. Those guys being Boruto, Kawaki, and Sarada. They've certainly developed. We see on command Kawaki use Ishiki's dojutsu. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but he's using it. We see him levitate in one of the panels. He can go into the dimension where Naruto's held very easily. He's certainly improved as a combatant. He can almost on command, it seems like on command, shrink combatants. He even references that in the chapter as well. It was a very good chapter. Now, spoiler alert, continuing on, Shikamaru is Hokage. He is the replacement for Naruto, with him being stuck in the dimension and everyone believing that he's dead via Ida's omnipotence, of course. So he is the Hokage. He's still under the omnipotence illusion, so he still believes Boruto is a global terrorist that murdered Naruto, and he believes Kawaki is Naruto's son. Sarada is still trying to convince him. He doesn't even remotely consider her scenario, so he just kind of dismisses her. She's angry at him. She tells him, "You're not my Hokage. Naruto is." Storms off. So that's essentially the chapter. It's sort of a establishing transition chapter where we are getting information that an invasion is commencing, right? And I thought the chapter was pretty good. I'm going to read the official translation when it comes out tomorrow, of course. Maybe I'll do that as a stream, maybe, if you guys would like that. But it was a good chapter. I thought it was a solid 9 out of 10, maybe 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty well done, and it sets up the climax very well. So overall, great chapter. If you guys have any questions on that, feel free to ask me. That's basically my summary on it. Again, I have a full video on this where I go, panel by panel and discuss everything there. But I just want to get my summary here as well. So let me get Batman back in here. So we have finished this. If you have any questions, folks, feel free to ask, by the way. Let me let them know real quick. Alright, so let's see what other questions are here. Yeah, any questions you have at all, folks, feel free to ask. Super chats take priority, so we'll stop what we do in our tracks. Answer right away, of course, or if you're a member as well, we'll answer right away. You could ask about anything, anime, IRL, the debate that happened yesterday, whatever. The UFC coming, UFC event coming tonight, Shannon O'Malley versus Sterling, whatever the case may be. So.
All right.
Yes, sir. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have. Yeah, the chapter was good. When you read it, you'll see I thought it was a well written chapter. So.
Like, I already know, like, one of the spoilers, to be fair, like, apparently Boruto fights Code or some shit, but
yeah, on this panel,
I don't know all the details and shit.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chapter. It's like very they're setting up the big event, so.
Gotcha. And I also heard always getting his ass beat or some shit.
Yeah.
He's like the.
Yeah, still. I mean, that's still the common occurrence with fucking Code. He's getting his ass beat.
Oh my god.
Someone asked this question. I guess it's a spoiler, but do you think Shikamaru is the weakest Hokage or even Kage in history of what we know? Also, I've never read Boruto, so I don't know how strong Shikamaru is in Boruto.
I can't really answer that. far
Okay,
enough, but
so Shikamaru has very little feats at all. He might not have any
yeah.
in Boruto at all. The closest thing to a feat was he temporarily restrained Kinshiki with a shadow possession, but then Kinshiki absorbed the actual shadow itself because he's using Otsutsuki. Um,
I guess like some relativity to like the alien dudes, but
yeah.
yeah.
If I'm being extremely generous, I would say, oh man, he was able to restrain Otsutsuki. That means he fucks up every Kage that is not in Boruto. That would be a
No.
little disingenuous. I don't think that's the case. If I'm being honest, he's not very capable. I don't think he's above Hashirama. There's not enough for that. He's not. He's obviously not above Naruto. I don't even think he's above Minato. Um, man, maybe he beats Tsunade. Maybe with his intelligence. If he gets hit once, he's done. He's dead. Um, but maybe Tsunade. After that, I don't really.
Like
I don't even see him beating Tobirama. He just has no feats, so I can't really say anything about him. He's one
like
of the
what we
he's one
can
of the weakest, for sure.
um like what we can say is like about Shikamaru is of what I do know, like I said, like he has like that feat against like the alien dudes. I can't remember if he did something against Momo as well, but I know he did something against Kinshiki. But the problem is sure like that's a jutsu like speed, activation feat, you know what I mean, or him reacting. So of course, like he could, like if he's over here doing that to those people, he could most definitely do it to like people like Hashirama, whatever, blah blah.
Yeah.
Minato, I don't know about all that because he's like really really fucking fast. But Hashirama, he could probably be able to catch with the shadow, all these other people, whatever. But the problem though is if like this is the best way to analyze it. All because you can catch someone with a shadow possession and then basically paralyze their movement, it doesn't grant you an automatic victory. And the reason why is because I'm gonna be honest with you, even throughout Naruto Shippuden or in Naruto in Part 1, like it's a 50-50 when he has someone in shadow possession and to even be granted a victory. Like look at Tamari.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at all these other scenarios. Look at fucking the flute girl, where he got her in the shadow possession, but she was overpowering him with Sage Mode, the curse mark, and she was about to kill him. And he got saved by Tamari. So the way I see it is, sure, he can catch these people, or let's say, sure, like he catches fucking Hashirama or some shit or whatever. But what's to say Hashirama or all these individuals just break out of it through sheer chakra and power? You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
we've seen that before. The curse mark can do it. The Nine Tails chakra, like he did it to Kinkaku when he was in his V2 state. He was able to get him in the shadow possession, but the dude broke out of it instantly.
Yeah.
So it's like, the problem is we don't have any, like fucking feats or anything to really suggest that he can do like absurd things with his body or this and that. Like it mainly boils down to his shadow possession as the only weapon he has. And once again, that's just a contentious aspect of it. All because he gets you doesn't mean he can really subdue or beat you.
Yeah.
So that's the problem, which is why Naruto would still be over. Like even Naruto without the Nine Tails, he would still be able to whoop Shikamaru's ass because of all his shadow clones. You know what I mean? Sage Mode, summoning the fucking frogs. Like it's just that's just what it is. And Shikamaru also has horrible chakra and stamina. Horrendous.
Yeah, he's not shown to have that. Yeah. So
yeah.
I would say someone said he did dodge a kick from Delta. Yeah, you have to prove Delta had killer intent though. But I'll say this though, there is an argument that due to the enormous power cliff that we get from Naruto to Boruto, that Shikamaru just inherently got much stronger, just like everybody else. That's an argument for sure. And I don't have a problem saying he'd beat Tsunade and be faster than Tsunade. But besides that, I just don't. I mean, from my own subjective lens, of course, I don't see him beating anybody else, any other the Hokage.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But like fucking Minato or Hashirama, like at their strongest forms and shit, I don't know about all that one.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
there'd have to be more feats from the guy. He barely has any, like a handful. So.
If that Delta thing is true, but then again, I don't know the whole context, or whatever, and I have absolutely no idea of her whole fucking scaling, you name it, whatever. And since I don't know the context and et cetera, like I can't really sit here and determine. But let's say if that was like she had killer 10, or let's say she has like this crazy ass scaling, and meaning therefore you're going to connect the dots. If that's obviously the case, and then like Jay said, you can argue power cliffing to where he would be shitting on these fucking people like Hashirama, whatever you name it, because you got to remember, Rama could even contend with Jubito.
If you conclude he's relative to Delta, he's beating all the Hokage except Naruto.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I don't think one dodge
Jubito,
from
Jubito
I don't think one dodge from one kick is enough to substantiate that. So, and I don't think she had killer intent either. So,
like all these Boruto beings like are way beyond fucking Jubito. Way
Yeah,
beyond.
that's the problem because as the narrative progresses and antagonists become more and more capable, the newer generation is just going to have to be able to contend somewhat to not get eliminated right away for the narrative to keep
Yeah.
on rolling. Like if fucking Shikamaru was as strong as he was in fucking Shippuden and Delta tries to kick him, then obviously you shouldn't be able to react. But
No,
obviously
yeah,
he's improved. He should get speed bliss and obliterated, but he has improved.
But see,
And
there's a problem there too, though. Let's be real. We'll give one benefit to Shikamaru. Shikamaru has technically always had pretty decent speed and reaction feats. Like the motherfucker was able to react to an off guard attack. He had no idea Kaksu was behind him. Kaksu's bloodlusted and you name it, going at full speed, and he was able to dodge an attack from behind. And then start outrunning and not get killed or anything. So like Shikamaru's always had great reaction and travel speed feats, but we've never seen any like great combat speed feats, you know what I mean? Or him fucking going blow for blow or doing some crazy shit like Kakashi and Guy or Asuma. Like he's just never been built like that. He's more of like a support character. Like you know what I mean? Like you have like the general and then you have him like on the side to like combo and shit. He's like a combo character,
yeah,
or strategize. That's all he's ever been really known.
Yeah, he doesn't have feet, so it's that simple.
So meaning all because he has like Delta or like let's say 6-path reaction speed. Sure, he can react or whatever, but then what does he do when it comes to him trying to deliver a killing blow or some shit? Nothing.
And that I don't think she had a killer intent anyways. I think Batman's not this far, but for Jay, do you think Ida and Damien will ruin the Boruto story you already have? They're in comparison to the antagonists of previous generation, they're subpar as far as character. Obviously, power scaling, no, but character-wise, they're subpar. Their motives and ideologies are extremely rudimentary. I mean, Ida just is infatuated with Quaking is the reason why she brainwashed the entire fucking globe and caused a plot twist. I think that's a very poor catalyst for the plot twist. The plot twist was brilliant. The plot twist itself was brilliant. The catalyst for it was poor, very subpar. She's just a fucking kid with Shinjutsu apparently, and so is fucking Damon. I think it takes away from some of the legitimacy and suspense and like sort of bona fide appeal that we have towards the Boruto narrative because it's fucking kids soloing the entire verse essentially, especially Ida. And Damon could theoretically do the same with even Boruto before the time skip saying, "No, I can never touch you. I would have to live several lifetimes to ever compete with you," and the kid's like 6 years old with Shinjutsu. It's absolutely absurd. So yeah, it does diminish the quality, I'd say, of the narrative. Even Code, just getting his ass whipped all the time and being like just a laughing stock in the fandom as well. Yeah, I think the villains have diluted the quality. But this now, with the current point in history that we're at in the narrative, they have an opportunity to at least somewhat redeem these antagonists. Kawaki is the highlight antagonist right now. He's the guy that has legitimate ideologies, legitimate motives, and is legitimately appealing to the audience. So he is one of the biggest hopes of the Boruto manga's future. So, but Damon and Ida are not helping. I'll say that.
Yeah, I have no idea who the those two are. So
yeah, they're not helping. So, do you think Delta is beating Hashirama? Oh yeah, she's relative in taijutsu to Naruto. So yeah, she would fucking slime the shit. She'd beat the shit out of him. He probably wouldn't even have a chance to get into stage when he'd be whipping his ass.
I heard that isn't she like similar in Dragon Ball Z, like the android?
Yeah, she's like an android. She could absorb ninjutsu too. So even if he used any ninjutsu, she'd just absorb it and he get fucked up.
Everybody has that shit.
Yeah, all
everybody.
Of them do. Delta, all the Otsutsuki.
Everybody either has a gadget or a fucking ability for it.
Yep. So she's broken as hell. Everybody. She's relative in taijutsu to Naruto, not relative to Naruto himself. He had to hold back because he would have destroyed the village if he used ninjutsu. But in taijutsu, he even said, "I have to go all out." He stated that when protecting Kawaki, he was protecting Himawari, and he was protecting Boruto. And he said, "Hey, I need to."
Yeah, Jay. He even said he had to hold back when Kinshiki and Base Momo came.
Yeah, he was holding back
because there and Momo did that big ass thing. Like it wasn't even Naruto. I said it was Sasuke. He said he's like, you're the only one like at full power that could be able to kill these two easily. And like and that power is nothing to you. Your power is like way beyond. Like he says literally just like that Sasuke. So even Sasuke's conceding that Naruto with the Nine Tails like even like beyond him because Sasuke wasn't saying, "Oh, I can do something right now. Or I got this." You know what I mean? Like
He says,
fucking, he was just saying like so like, but you can't go all out because all the kids and you're literally in your village, so this is kind of bad. And then Naruto's like, "Don't worry, Sasuke, take care of Boruto for me," and then he gives his life and takes the blow.
yeah,
You
he
know?
even said like Naruto could level this fucking village if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to
Yeah,
kill
yeah. He
everybody.
said he could destroy
Yeah,
everything and just kill them all, but
he
it would
bet,
kill everybody
yeah.
in the process.
The guy's like he's a living nuke basically.
Literally,
He could have, if he wanted to. If there was no one there, he would have fucking bombed that whole place and probably killed those two.
it was hilarious because like
Yeah.
everybody was always arguing all the time, like, "Oh, who wins, Sasuke or Naruto?" And blah blah. And this, that. And like the moment I started watching Boruto, that's like the first thing I see, and I'm like, "Are you guys forgetting about this whole fucking scene from the movie and anime and manga, bro? Like Sasuke deadass just concedes right now that Naruto's just that guy to
Yeah.
everybody.
Definitely has more. He definitely has more firepower than Sasuke for sure.
Literally,
Yeah.
bro."
Let's see. Do you think Sarada has been prohibited from using her Sharingan by Shikamaru? No, I don't think that's the case. I do think that he's probably prohibited her from visiting Boruto because obviously she's told him her concerns. He's like, Boruto's a good guy. He's not. He didn't kill Naruto. Naruto's stuck somewhere and all this shit. So Shikamaru, I'm sure, told her, hey, you're not allowed to go see him. You're not allowed to go see Sasuke. And guess what? You're not allowed. He probably even prohibited her from leaving the village. He probably has the sensory unit like keeping an eye on her so she doesn't go rogue herself or some shit. I'm pretty sure that's something Shikamaru's going to do, knowing his intelligence. But I'm sure in missions he wouldn't tell her to not use her Sharingan. So do you think? Let's see, I just read that. Couldn't Hashirama just activate Sage Mode in a second and rip out the shot of possession if he was caught anyway? Yeah, more than likely is he'll just overpower Shikamaru anyway. It's been displayed many times where he's overpowered by people that are more powerful than him, like Kinshiki. The Flute Girl almost did it. It's a couple instances as well. Question for Batman. I don't think I've asked you before, but who is your favorite villain in Boruto from what you've seen so far?
Favorite villain?
Yeah, favorite villain.
From what I've seen so far, because I just finished the Deppa arc and I'm finally getting into. I'm about to meet Kawaki. And then I've only seen Jigen, but I haven't really seen anything what he's done. I just seen how he talks and how he interacts.
Yeah.
I'm beyond. Like, if I had to pick my favorite, it's between Orochimaru's not a villain anymore, so I can't say Orochimaru. But if I had to pick, like, the reason why I'm not gonna say Deppa, because this is the problem. The only main villain I've really seen so far is fucking Deppa, and that motherfucker's a psychopath. I don't really like him, and he kind of got like bitched.
He's a psychopath. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and he was all right. Like, it was cool and everything. It was great, and it was badass and epic. But it wasn't like, oh, he's that guy. Like, as a villain, like I really like. Like, no, I really didn't enjoy him that much. He was, like I said, the whole concept was great. But if out of everything I've seen so far, even though I have not seen any feats yet or like any writing with these two characters, it's between this dude that looks like Jiraiya and then Jigen, because just the way the give off is very like superior. It's very strong. Like they're those guys or some shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I'm assuming I'm about to start seeing more of this Jiraiya looking dude.
Yeah, Koji.
Yeah, cause I feel like it's kind of bringing him as the next big dude, like right after Deppa and the other old guy. What's it called? But like, so like, I don't know. If I had to pick, it's between that dude and Jigen. But let's say out of like seeing feats and you name it, whatever, blah, then actually I would probably say the old dude and not Deppa, because that motherfucker was a little cracked. He had a healing regeneration ability.
Yeah, that guy was cracked.
He could do all fucking chakra natures. He was giving me like old man Hiruzen vibes, bro. Like he's doing like these weird ass 4 or 5 fucking arms around his whole body and shit, doing this crazy like Kirin based jutsu. He shits on fucking Konohamaru and the other joining at the same time. Like,
Konohamaru's a fucking joke.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like that guy was no joke. So like I really enjoyed the old guy because he was kind of cracked. Like he had a lot of shit. But so that's my take on that.
By the way, folks, for you guys that came in, make sure to get the likes up. It's really appreciated. The more likes, the better. We get up in the algorithm. Gets the continuing success of these streams, which I've been doing pretty well. For the first time.
Another thing, I've seen this guy with the what's his fucking name, Jay? You can probably know. He has a bandage. He used to have the Bakugan and shit.
Oh, A or Ayu, however you say his name.
Yeah, Ayu, whatever the fuck his fodder ass name is.
Yeah.
I'm finally seeing him as well. Like he's being brought into the mist, cause showing him and the Jiraiya dude, and he's kind of cool. Like he was having a couple moments, but then again, like I'm not really expecting nothing. But the concept of him is cool, and I'm very curious to see where that goes. But but I can't say he's my favorite villain or anything because for one, I haven't seen anything, and two, what I'm getting so far, it's whatever. It's like mid. You know what I mean? Like wow, with the fucking dry looking dude and Jigen, they're just look way more badass and cool.
Yeah.
And Jigen though, I can tell he's the big bad. Like I can just right off the whip, like how he talks, how he treats everyone, his demeanor. It's kind of similar to Madara. Is his interaction with Delta when they're at the fucking table and she over here has like a temper tantrum and fucking kicks the shit over and then he just resummons that shit. From,
Yeah,
like,
literally. Yeah.
And he's like, behave, bitch. Like that shit just had me.
He's basically like yeah, he's like fucking, he's like Pain was in the Akatsuki, basically. Yeah. He's just like the leader. He's like telling everybody what to do and shit. So.
But I just want to put that out there. I've seen that dude with the fucking, A or whatever, AO, but I don't really care about him.
Yeah,
so that's why
he has an okay moment, but yeah. For the first time, me and Jay disagree because I think Hashirama beats Delta. Oh, really? Man, Hashirama is a revered shinobi, though. Let's see. Let's say we give each Hokage 3 tier Anbu fighters. Can Shikamaru get more dubs? If he has 3 S tier Anbu fighters with him? Against who? Against other Hokage? Oh, the Anbu fighters would be fodder to most of the Hokage. They're not shit. Even S tier. It's not shit to Hashirama. Wouldn't really change anything. So. Let's see. It's hilarious that current Boruto smokes Kaguya now. Yeah, he probably does. I'm not gonna lie. Fucking stomped Code in the face, so. If Boruto stomped on Kaguya like that, her head would explode. Yeah, dude, he's fucking strong now. Obviously, yeah. What's up, guys? What's going on, Sir Goats? Thanks for coming in, man. I've been starting my workout, and my biggest mistake was not stretching before now. Oh, dude, stretching is big. The older you get, the more tense your muscles get, just from age and from usage. It's harder to stay nimble. So yeah, it is important. Ayo. Yeah, I know how to spell his name, but I never really knew how to say his fucking name. It's like Ao.
Yeah, you gotta definitely stretch. That's super important. Anything you do.
The older you get, the more pivotal, for sure. And the more you work out, the more you're gonna need to. Delta lacks the firepower. What would you do against his wooden golem? So, this is what happened in the altercation between Delta and Naruto. Naruto used actual 6-pass mode and was swapping hands with Delta competitively.
That's over, yeah.
Yeah, competitively they were swapping hands. So, if you try to qualitatively deduce the AP of Naruto's punches in 6-pass mode,
but look at him in KCM2 when he kicked the fucking Biju bomb.
Look at KCM2 before. Think about this: the AP that his strikes possessed, even in KCM2, as a fucking kid before 6-pass mode, he was kicking away Biju bombs like soccer balls. That was him as a fucking 14-year-old kid. Imagine him as a grown man in his prime with 6-pass modes on top of that. What his AP would be with one strike, and Delta was going blow for blow with this individual. So what happened is
that means she was doing better than fucking Base Momo. Base Momo got
she did better. She did do better. That's why 6 and me now believe that Delta could beat Momo arguably.
Yeah, Base Momo because Base Momo was getting bitched by because Base Momo was equal to Base Naruto, but not really because Base Naruto was still beating his ass.
Yeah.
And in the moment Base Naruto goes QB 6-pass mode, he just starts dogging him, bro.
So essentially. Yeah, because Delta's punches are essentially the firepower. Because just think about it, when he fought Kurama and Madara, his wooden golem, or I know it was some wooden structure, was struggling with smaller Biju bombs. They were breaking through it. So Delta's AP is, I would say, astronomically times higher than that. She'd probably shatter it with one shot, shatter that shit, because she is Otsutsuki level, at least low tier.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The way it went, Jay, is just for a better, even more analysis for it. You're saying it right. I'm just giving more detail for it. Is the Nine-Tail shoots its first normal size it always shoots, even the size it shot at Teen Minato, and it shot that at Hashirama, and then Hashirama tries to block it with the Wood Dragon, but it goes right through the Wood Dragon, and then he has to use his Wood Golem hand, and and he was able to grab it or whatever. It was either the Wood Dragon or it was another Wood Golem hand that it just went right fucking through. But bottom line is, it's all the same shit, wood style, whatever. But either way, and then he had to use the wood shit as a shield to protect himself. He doesn't use his body; he has to use the wood
Yeah.
style.
And to be honest, she would probably blitz him before he gets it off anyway. If she's able to go toe to toe with Naruto and keep up with his hand speed,
That yeah, Oak like yeah.
she's gonna blitz him and probably shatter his fucking jawline in one shot. That's probably what's gonna happen. Yeah, she's really fucking powerful.
But
She
it's
is.
not even that. Like she would just blatantly fucking just smash right through his wood style, bro. Like
Yeah. This
But
is
the
essentially
best way-
this is essentially the Sakura versus EMS Madara discussion. That's essentially what this
Yeah.
shit is. It's fucking a person that has ridiculous feats. You know, like Sakura was able to hurt Kaguya, who's a greater threat than Madara and as Jubidara, let alone EMS Madara. There's a great argument that she would shatter shit with her punch. That's how strong she hits. She's
and
basically
Naruto is using Sage Mode in that form, right? I'm assuming too.
yeah.
Like
He
Sage
was.
Mode in.
It was like him,
Right?
his
Okay.
taijutsu at its max. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, bro, if you think Hashirama, like even with Sage Mode, is going blow for blow with his 6-path Sage Mode KCM2 cloak and Boruto, like come on, bro.
Yeah, essentially Susanos and wooden golems that are not 6-path level are glass to these people. To Delta, to Naruto, to fucking Jigen. That shit's glass to them. Like, it's like throwing rocks at a
Yeah.
glass tower. That's what it is to them. They're just
Like,
that powerful.
they could be able to hurt. They could be able to hurt like Jubito if one of their hits landed. But the only reason Hashirama could do it was because he has Sage Mode. That's sick. That's the Ten Tails weakness.
Yeah.
It's not because he scales to the 6 pass. It's just that's just a blatant weakness. Sage Mode, like a fucking frog, a fodder ass frog shoots water style at Jubito. He blocks it with his orb shit, and the orbs get immediately destroyed because it's weakness. It's like kryptonite to Superman. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So Hashirama could theoretically, technically hurt Jubito or even Jubi Madara, like if he was landing like his Sage Mode hits. But the problem is they're so fast and beyond him in scaling, they wouldn't even land a hit.
Yeah.
It would just wouldn't happen. You know, he would just get killed in blitz, like literally what happens by mindless Jubito.
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
blitzed him.
Not
Yeah.
Jubidara because they limbo. Yeah, Sakura's not beating Jubidara. She's beating EMS Madara. Jubidara would have limbo, so you wouldn't be able to see that. You're right. She'll blow up the Susanoo. Yeah, that was that debate. I remember when Swag posted that a year ago or 2 years ago with that shit. He was right though, and I had a hard time accepting that reality, but he's right. So, but yeah, folks, any questions you may have at all? Boruto, Naruto, Bleach. By the way, I just watched the episode. It was fucking amazing. Kenpachi is that guy. He's the guy. That's all I gotta say about Kenpachi.
Hey, Jay, imagine like Itachi somehow got brought back as an Edo.
Oh Jesus.
Because everybody's like theorizing like that the Hidden Leaf Village should technically have his Amaterasu still because Jiraiya put it in a scroll, you know what I mean, and then like give it Hidden Leaf, so like they can use that as basically a way to revive him if they wanted to. But imagine they brought him back, and then like fucking he's over here like doing some crazy ass like fucking 6-path feats or some shit.
If they brought him back, they'd have to make him relevant. So they'd have to probably make him more powerful.
Like, and the only logical like explanation for that would have to be the Edo Tensei being just way more powerful.
Yeah, it'd have to be
and
like
for-
a Orochimaru perfecting. It'd be like a Orochimaru literally perfecting Edo Tensei and making them more powerful. Yeah.
That would be the only way, yeah, because that just wouldn't make sense. That'd be a retcon then, technically.
Yeah.
Like that would just be.
Yeah,
everybody would be like, "What the fuck? Like, why is it?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, how the fuck is Itachi fighting fucking Code? What in the fuck? Like, that would be insane.
Yeah,
if that
literally.
happened. Yeah, that would be they'd have to retcon. There's no way to make that make sense. So.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure if the Kishimoto did that, there would blatantly be a statement like, "Oh, this Edo Tensei makes him even more powerful than he was in the past," or some shit.
Yeah,
you
it'd
know?
be like a Orochimaru perfecting it, or maybe Amato or some shit. Yeah, that'd be insane.
Yeah, Amato, yeah, the scientist, or maybe somehow Sasuke doing some crazy shit and then getting the help from Orochimaru or Amato.
Yeah,
you
maybe
know?
it'd go to like Orochimaru. That would be dope though to see maybe at least some guys.
Yeah, he could be like Itachi had Tsukiyomi, which is the most broken genjutsu, and he also had the Totsuka blade and the Yata mirror. So like, if we can bring him back and make him strong in this time, he could be a good fucking tool to use, basically. Like,
yeah, that would be a hell of an appealing moment to the.
Bro.
Yeah, that would be an appealing moment to the audience for sure.
That too, yeah. He'll be able
yeah.
to see Sadara and see how everything has become.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be insane. I didn't stretch and worked out pretty much every day. Muscle twitches like a motherfucker. Yeah, dude, you gotta stretch for sure. Bro, Naruto didn't even touch the Biji bombs. He literally just did it with his presence. Yeah, dude, he's fucking. Even as a kid, dude, not as a kid, but as a teenager, he was already fucking strong before the 6-path powers. Kenpachi is that guy. Yeah, he is, bro. He is. Bro just slapped him away with a piece of his chakra. Yeah, that's what he did. If Itachi comes back, I won't hit him Boruto anymore. Yeah, me neither, dude. Me neither.
Oh, that's another thing too, Jay. Like when you're talking about the Delta shit and everything, I'm assuming he never even went like his Biju mode, and his Biju mode avatar is like way even more powerful
Oh yeah,
than his
no,
normal boss
because
mode.
he would have
So
leveled
what, then what's the excuse like for that for Hashirama?
Yeah.
Like you think he's fighting that now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he couldn't go that far. He would have leveled the entire village. Yeah, you can't do that.
And then the next form he technically has, and I don't know if he ever uses it again in Boruto, but the next form he has even beyond that is in applying Sage mode on the Biju avatar that he did against Sasuke.
Yeah,
in
literally.
their fight.
Yeah, yeah, he never like goes that far until we'll see like Jigen, Ishiki, guys like that, and then obviously Baron mode after that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So yeah, that would even further imply that clearly that's his next powerful form, like Super Saiyan 2 and 3 and shit. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the Hashirama, there's no way, bro.
Yeah, exactly. What's more broken, Limbo, Kamui, Sukuna, Hakona? Oh, dude. It's a good question. I think Limbo probably isn't because they're individuals that could feel and or see it if they have the right dojutsu.
Yeah.
The Sukuna...
Like Madara says to not even use it against fucking Black Zetsu Obito. He's like, should I use Limbo? He's like, actually, no. He has my Rinnegan. It's too risky. So that's weird. I don't know why he wouldn't be willing to use it against Obito, but...
Yeah, I think out of those three, it might be Sukuna Hakona, man, because you get shrinked and you're like the shrinking shit is so fucking such a problem. Well, it depends on the person having it. If they have slow activation time and synapses, then you could just blitz them. Same thing with any of these abilities, I should say, but probably Sukuna Hakona because that shit's a problem.
I don't know what that is.
It's Ishiki's ability. You'll see once he fights when he uses it. Kawaki's he actually used it in this chapter too. Yeah, it's broken as fuck. It's really broken. Probably Sukuna Hakona.
So Kamui's still the best, or you're saying that's the...
Kamui's right there because Kamui you can leave the dimension, your chakra becomes it's not able to be detected.
Snipe their head off.
But Sukuna Hakona I believe has the same property. If you shrink, I'm pretty sure they can't detect you unless you're at Sutsuki or some shit like that. So they're close. Kamui and Sukuna Hakona are close. Probably for defense, Kamui. For offense, Sukuna Hakona. I mean, you could argue Sukuna Hakona has good defense too.
Just shrink things to like a microscopic level, like some Ant-Man shit or something.
Yeah, it's like some Ant-Man shit. Literally.
What the fuck?
Oh shit, Kenrock's in here. He became a member. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate that. Speaking of those who debated, yeah, Ken's in here. Do you think Kenpachi could slice through Madara Limbo clones? So, spoiler alert for Bleach fans. Kenpachi fights... Oh, this is the anime. If you already read Bleach, it's not a spoiler. Just review on the anime. Kenpachi fights, according to the Quincy, the strongest Quincy, obviously, probably besides, like, fucking Ewok. He says, I'm the strongest, and essentially his ability is to bring anything he imagines to reality. So, it's like borderline tune logic, but... The only limitation to that is if he imagines the wrong thing, it could backfire, which we see in the episode. I think his ability is really, really interesting and unique. And Kenpachi slices through everything. Like, Kenpachi goes to slice him, and he turns his body to steel. Kenpachi's like, bitch, I don't give a shit if that's steel. I'm just going to slice through that too. So he slices through that, and he slices through everything. He slices through a fucking meteor coming down from the fucking sky. Literally like a fucking...
Bro, it sounds like he has fucking like Chidori or some shit.
It literally was like Sasuke. It was literally like Sasuke in the Boruto movie when he just Chidori'd a fucking meteor. That's basically what fucking Kenpachi did with his sword. But could he cut through Madara's Limbo clones? He does say I can cut through anything. But that's extremely ambiguous though. If you're like hyper literal, it's like, oh well, he said he could cut through anything, so he'll cut through that. Well, that's a little, I think, disingenuous. It's hard.
Statements. Yeah, because that's.
Yeah, it's hard to. Feet. Yeah, you need feats, and it's hard to say because the limbos are technically in another dimension as well.
Yeah.
I would say
you need hack to interact with the limbo.
Yeah, I would say the likelihood of that is unlikely. I don't think he could. I don't think he could see it nor attack it. Arguably, and again, there's so many factors that have to be presupposed. Like, how would a Shinigami interact with a shinobi and interact with the limbo dimension? There's no way to answer that question, but I would deduce most likely he couldn't. That's the point of the limbo. So probably not. Probably not. I'd probably say no. You probably wouldn't be able to see it, let alone cut it. Another good thing...
always gets...
Yeah.
Oh, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Another good thing I liked about Kenpachi, we finally saw his Shikai as well. It's pretty fucking dope. So I really enjoyed that. That was probably it might be my favorite episode so far in part two. Either that or the
Oh, damn.
Yamamoto fight with Ewok. Those are like my favorite chat.
Imagine we get to see Vaster Lord Ichigo again.
That'd be dope. Yeah, Ichigo's like up in the. He's with the Zero Division, becoming a fucking like a fucking god right now, like getting all those amps. I think actually in the episode before that, I might be wrong. He was coming down to the Soul Society, I think. So he's about to. Yeah, he's basically pulling like a fucking. He's basically pulling like a Minato when he shows up in the battlefield during the war arc. He's gonna pull up like I'm here, to help with the Quincy's. So
like, I'm that guy. Let's go.
yeah, he's basically that guy right now. So let's see. We saw Sakura versus Jubidara. Well, not adult, but war arc. Yeah, that didn't go well for her. That didn't go well for her at all. Imagine the hate Aunt Itachi would have if he comes back and knows what happens. Oh Jesus, it's gonna be yeah, bloodless Itachi. Yeah. Do you think Boruto's power levels for stronger characters are too high? Like, what are the side characters going to do? Fight the 10-tail minions? Most of them can't even do that, so what are they going to do? There's two trains of thought. Either they evacuate and only leave the capable shinobis, or Kishimoto is forced to retcon them and make them relative to 10-tail clones. As far as what I think is going to happen, honestly, I think he's going to have to upscale people, or a lot of people are going to fucking die. Especially if Code brings all his whole army. Apparently he has thousands of clones, 10-tail clones. I would assume that most of the original Genin from part 1 would have to be upscaled. Like Rock Lee, Neji. Oh, Neji's dead, what am I saying? Rock Lee, Tenten, Ino, Sai.
I think he will, because look at the, like, remember when it was in the war arc and we had, like, all those, like, weird Jubi, like, fucking weird miniature clone things?
Yeah.
And they were all fighting all those, even though it's not the full 10 tails, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like little baby fragments of it. But like, so it might be like a similar like incident or event like that, where once again, like you said, they're upscaled, or like they just get absolutely slammed. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And like Batman said, it would rationally make sense because even in the war, they were able to fight partially 10-tail clones. Like it wasn't a full 10 tails, but they were able to combat the 10-tail clones, like Choji, Sakura. Guys like that, they were able to combat at least, so it wouldn't be like extremely outlandish to see.
They were problematic for Sasuke and Naruto.
Yeah.
Around that time, that was KCM 1.5 and EMS Sasuke, who was gradually getting more stronger throughout. And the fact that they also were having like a rough time and they had to like get through all of them, you name it, like that clearly shows some relativity in performance against those things. You know, so like if Kishimoto's willing to do that with Naruto and EMS Sasuke with the side characters, I don't see why he wouldn't do that in Boruto. Now, we're not saying that those side characters were just as powerful as EMS Sasuke or Naruto either. Hell no. They would get all slammed instantly.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is they can be able to perform in a similar aspect against the same threats, right? You know, so...
Yeah, I would say... Yeah, I would say Rock Lee or someone like that having competitive interactions with the 10-tail clones wouldn't be a contradiction to the narrative. I don't think I'd have a problem with that. Like him and Gates, maybe he's like in 6-7 Gates, like fucking up some 10-tail clones. I wouldn't be like, oh, what the hell is happening? I would be okay with that, actually. So, let's see what Kenrock said. Empire Nefarious versus Eggman. I'm not really familiar with Sonic scaling, but I don't know who Empire Nefarious is. Let me see real quick.
Google it, to be honest, but I don't know.
Empire Nefarious. Versus Wiki. See. Oh, Ratchet and Clank. Oh shit, that game is goated though.
Yeah, it was a really good fucking PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah. Let's see what it says. Does it have scaling here?
Hope they remaster that shit, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they're fucking definitely remaster. Is this from Ratchet and Clank? Yeah. Okay, so much higher. Wait, I'm trying to read that shit. Where is it at? Unknown? Oh, so he's fucking... Okay. Massively hypersonic speed. Attack potency is unknown. A lot of it's unknown. Okay. Extremely high. So his intelligence is extremely high, like Eggman's. Arrogant and extremely quick to anger. Okay, so let's compare him to Eggman. Eggman versus Wiki. I know the Sonic verse I've heard. I don't know too much about it, but I heard it's like cracked. I'm not sure though. Let's see here. Is there any attack potency? Multiversal? God damn. Speed is immeasurable? Well, based off the Versus Wiki stats, fucking Eggman should slam. But again, a lot of the stats for Nefarious are unknown, so I don't know what his limits are. I have to play the game or some shit. Super genius. But he's also short-tempered. I'd probably say Eggman, based on what I do know, and I don't know much, to be honest. Yes, but adult Sakura should probably be strong enough to punch through Madara Susanoo. Yeah, I agree with that. Current Naruto versus Kaguya. Current Naruto? Post-nerf? It's hard to quantify where he currently gauges at on the on the totem pole, power scaling totem pole.
Yeah.
I don't think
Naruto probably loses.
Yeah, I would say probably loses.
Probably still loses, but then again, like if we just get a little bit more and can at least confirm he's still somehow relative in the 6-pass areas on it, then with Sage Mode you can make some contentious arguments for him.
Yes, Naruto is kind of keeping up with base and Momo and base. Yeah, but there's always an inherent amplification to his power because 1, he has the 9 tails, 2, he has 6-pass more than likely. There's nothing to contradict that. So he's always inherently, implicitly being amped by those abilities, even if he's not using QB Chakra mode. So I would say.
And I know further forced because I was unfortunately spoiled. But apparently there's this dude called Code once again, and he completely shits on base Naruto.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
he's literally saved by I think Boruto or Kawaki. One of them has to save his ass from getting exterminated. So yeah. Akage would probably whip his ass.
That prove that when he had the 9 tails, even his base was way more powerful.
Yeah, and even in the war arc, when we see him get 6-pass in base, he's kicking away True Seeking Orbs and shit. So yeah. So he's clearly more capable than before 6-pass and all that. So
so you take all that away.
Yeah.
And it's just a normal fucking base Naruto.
Yeah, he's normal base. He has Sage Mode, but he's nowhere near what he once was. More than likely, unless Kishimoto changes that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 10 times multiplier for Sage Mode, but once again, we just don't know the exact quantification and scaling right now.
Yeah.
Like, or we're not. The quantification doesn't even matter. We just need like some level of scaling because we need more feats and we don't have anything.
Yeah,
right now.
if anything, we only have anti-feats. We have him getting sealed by Kawaki, and we have him getting saved from Code. So.
Literally.
Yeah. He can't even fly anymore. I don't think. Yeah, I hardly doubt that. Yeah, he probably can't fly. So
no. Yeah, that was part of the 6-pass. Yeah.
Yeah. So I posted a poll of who wins between Part 1 Orochimaru with his 2 Edos versus Sage Mode Jiraiya. Who wins? Because even I don't know. Who wins between those two? Orochimaru with the 2 Edos versus Sage Mode Jiraiya.
What 2 Edos?
Probably the ones from the Konoha Crush arc, I'm guessing.
Oh.
The weak-ass ones.
Yeah, I'll let you
I would say Orochimaru in base is blatant Sanin, and the 2 Edos based off
Kage level.
Yeah, off of Hiruzen's performance, I wouldn't say are definitely not superior to Orochimaru. I think they're arbitrarily relative, but even Hiruzen clones were able to dispose of them. So I would say they're
the clone.
they're arbitrarily relative to like Sanin level, even that's being generous. So if we're talking about Sage Mode Jiraiya, he's blatantly Sanin plus.
Sage Mode Jiraiya would slam.
Yeah, I think he'd react very easily to Tobirama and Hashirama. Their arsenals may be a problem, but I would see him blitzing them more than likely.
With Mon Paul and his ninjutsu combinations and all that, like he would just slam through their ninjutsu.
And I'm sure,
he'd probably break through.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'd be able to seal. I'm sure he has some sealing technique to deal with them. If he doesn't, then that's going to be a problem because eventually he'll exhaust his Sage Mode and the Edos will kill him. Like if he doesn't have sealing techniques like Hiruzen, then obviously he'll lose. But if he does, he'd get through those two. And if Orochimaru doesn't use his Hydra Snakes, then Jiraiya most likely. And we presuppose Orochimaru doesn't use more Edos, Jiraiya most likely wins.
Like what I'll say to even further like compliment that is like because like I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Jiraiya has any ceiling. He's never ever shown there's no data book.
Yeah.
There's no the only thing he's ever had was like a scroll, and he knew like a jutsu to like seal the Amaterasu to bring it into the scroll, but he couldn't seal it himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you think he could like I don't know put a fucking Edo Tensei in the goddamn scroll then I guess. But the problem with that is that takes time. Like, it's very time consuming, and you think Orochimaru and the other Edo is just gonna let him put a whole other Edo in a fucking scroll? You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing he's really shown.
Yeah.
So when it healing, that's definitely out of the equation. What he would have to do is immediately subdue it. You know what I mean? Which he can, obviously. That wouldn't be a problem. That would be very easy. But the problem is that's very stressful because having to put something down over and over while dealing with another guy, that's very annoying. You know what I mean? That's going to put you at a advantage.
It'd be a huge handicap. So, yeah, so in
character. But Orochimaru, no, I don't think Orochimaru can fuck with Sagemon Jiraiya, though. He would have to go and edit thing.
Yeah.
So
he'd have to use his Hydra Snakes. So with sealing, I mean, I would assume he doesn't have any, but if he does, he'd probably beat Orochimaru. But in character, I think Orochimaru probably would use his Hydra Snakes. So at that point, I think Orochimaru would probably win. Probably. With the Hydra Snakes.
Because the Hydra generate and everything. Like, the only way I could see Jiraiya pulling it off is if he does the Genjutsu thing. You know what I mean? With Mom and Paul. Because Orochimaru wouldn't really expect that. It'd be the same, like, scenario like Pain. Like, Orochimaru knows Jiraiya like the back of his hand, and he knows he's not good at Genjutsu. So that could actually potentially be, like, a win con for, like, an off guard. You know what I mean? Like, to where basically how I see it is, like, Jiraiya's fighting whatever. He's in Sage Mode. He's slamming Orochimaru really badly. And then, like, Orochimaru can't do anything. The Edos are useless after getting put down a million times. And then basically Orochimaru gets pissed, goes into his full transformation. Anything Jiraiya does is just not working because he keeps regenerating. And then basically at that point, like, fucking, you know, Jiraiya is either just going to get, like, fucked up, you know, and killed. Because it comes down to, like, an everlasting battle. Like, who can outlast who? You know? Yeah. And it's really interesting because, like, we know Mom Paul can give him infinite Sage Mode, basically, which is basically infinite, you know, chakra and energy and stamina. And it also, like, heals you and you name it as well. Like Mom Paul said, like, when you take Sage Mode, it not only heals your wounds and everything, but it increases your body and stats, your durability, you name it. So, like, it comes down, like, to a never-ending battle. And it just boils down to who can get the lethal blow. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. So Jiraiya would be either Genjutsu, sure, then he wins, or if Jiraiya can't get the Genjutsu, Orochimaru somehow just gets a lethal blow on Jiraiya and he's dead.
I think Orochimaru is more durable, than Jiraiya. He's, like, displayed, like, shedding himself and, like, all kinds of shit. So, yeah, he's going to be harder to kill than Jiraiya.
Orochimaru might have he should still have the vapor smoke shit as well. To where, like, if, like, you know, like, if he gets fucked up or cut or whatever by Jiraiya, that, like, if Jiraiya is there, it would just paralyze Jiraiya. And Jiraiya doesn't have any way to negate that. At least I don't think he does.
Yeah, in character, Orochimaru probably. In character.
Yeah.
If it's just Orochimaru and base with the two Edos and Sage Mode, Jiraiya can seal him, then Jiraiya. So, it depends.
Yeah. If it's bloodless, like, Jiraiya has a lot more of a chance, because then maybe kill him before he goes into his serpent transformation.
Yeah, the conclusion is it's circumstantial. Yeah.
Like, a narrative thing too, Jay, is technically we've seen the fighting character and Orochimaru won. It was just like Sasuke and Naruto. He won.
Yeah.
So
technically he did beat him, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the side characters and by Naruto's Nine-Tailed Cloaks in the fight with the Ten-Tailed Minions? Yeah, I think they were. Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on, Random? Thanks for coming in. Those Edos are kind of fodder. Yeah, they are. The problems with Orochimaru is that he's so hard to kill. Yeah, exactly. His durability is insane, man. Instant kill hack stealing jutsu. You're going to have to dish out extra force just to put him down for good. Yeah, exactly. The guy has insane durability. And that's going to be hard for Jiraiya. I would say even in Sage Mode to kill that thing, man. Hot take, Orochimaru is the best Naruto villain. It's kind of a hot take. I wouldn't say he's better than Madara or Pain, but if someone says he's the best, I don't think that's crazy to say. Sort of a hot take. Yeah. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have, the new Bleach episode, JJK, UFC coming tonight, Naruto, Boruto, the elections, conspiracies, UFOs, whatever. We'll answer any and all things. So yeah, but I have another question here that was asked. Well, you guys asked more pre-live stream. It was a live Hokage Minato versus Hokage Kakashi. If the novels are canon, who would take it? So, if the novels are canon, then Kakashi is significantly superior to his War Arc iteration. However, the exact discrepancy in power between the two iterations is certainly ambiguous. I would deduce that in the War Arc, Kakashi was at least relative to stunning levels, based on his performance against V2 Jinchurikis and Obito. Hence, it is possible that Kakashi is above Hokage Minato in the Boruto era, but again, it's ambiguous and unanswerable, to be honest. But I would say yes, however, because of the significant power cliff we observe from Naruto to Boruto. I mean, just look at the war in comparison to Boruto. We see Chonchuro struggling with fucking Zetsu, and in Boruto we see him fucking swapping hands with Kinchiki. So it's a huge power cliffing that we see. So Kakashi being above Minato, with the novels being canonical, is certainly very possible. And I probably would lean towards that myself. So to add further to that, Naruto Hashirama admits inferiority to even Jubito, who Minato is relative to at best if we wank him with a one shot. And Jubito is far inferior to any Otsutsuki, so I'd probably say Kakashi would beat Hokage Minato if the novels are canon. And they also asked Edo Minato versus Kakashi. I'd still think he'd win, to be honest, even with Minato having Edos. That's if he could seal him, of course. If he can't seal him, then he'll actually exhaust himself. He'll die. So.
Yeah, it's either a simple thing, Kakashi, the power cliffs, or if you don't think so, then then he just can't. He just has limits, and that's where he's at. Like a prime example, we see him like shitting his pants with one big ass meteor coming down from the fight of Naruto versus that one dude, Tenori or whatever. And then like he's like, what do I do? Like, oh my god, like we're all gonna die. And then these fodder ass ninja that have access to the 8 gates, like they can slice a part of the meteor in half, but they couldn't do anything. There was like 15 or 20 of them using all the gates, and even with Rock Lee there, and they're all like, oh, we're gonna die. And then Sasuke just comes in base with one Chidori and just no diffs that shit.
Yeah.
So like he has,
Let's see. What jutsu would you rather have in real life? Shadow clones, mind transfer, 100 healings? If I had to be honest, in real life application, I think shadow clones would by far be the best, because if it works the same way, obviously, as the Naruto's does, then you essentially have twice the brain power, 3 times the brain power, depending on not the brain power, but the ability to develop in any such a craft. I would say that if I wanted to, I could make 100 clones and learn nuclear physics in one day, because I'd have 100 of me on that, and I would learn 100 times as fast. If I have 1,000 clones, I could probably learn how to single-handedly build a Tesla or something. Whatever, I could do whatever I want. I could probably literally answer the questions of our expanding infinite universe in a few days, because I'd have 1,000 of me on the case, and all my mind power multiplied by 1,000 as far as developmental progression. It's insane what the shit you can do with the.
To be fair, Jay or me would have to at least have like the chakra level and stamina to do that, because technically only Naruto or people that had like absurd levels of chakra could be able to do that, because Kakashi couldn't and Minato couldn't for whatever weird reason. They just said that's why they couldn't replicate that strategy, to be able to like increase your intelligence or do things like instantaneously fast that would require eons upon eons or years. But if like let's say those variables are there, you know what I mean, and we have the chakra, like that's just blatantly the best route. And even if you didn't, it's still technically better in comparison, because you could have multiple versions of you still doing things, whether if it's only 3 or 4 of you, even if it's not like 100 plus, like even just having a couple versions of you or 10 or whatever, that goes a long fucking way, bro.
Yeah.
Like
you could do whatever you want. You could do whatever you want.
Whatever. It's infinite possibilities at that point,
you could
bro.
single-handedly create a business, and all the employees are you. Like all the profit will go towards you. You're paying yourself. So you can do whatever you want, man.
And they don't need to get paid or anything either. Like the shadow clones don't care. They're just basically there to serve you at the end of the day.
Basically, like if you have any kind of business that's in 7 figures, literally all the money will go to you, because you're doing everything at once.
Like the only argument you can say that the shadow clones do have like some form of morality or whatever, or personality, and they're just like as human as you, whatever, blah blah. But the only problem is that episode is like filler. So, and there is nothing from like manga or like canon material, whatever, blah blah, to indicate that shadow clones actually operate that way. Instead, it's the contrary, and it's abundance, that shadow clones just don't have any control at all, and it's just the original controlling them and enslaving them, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like there's just nothing. It's basically the shadow clones is literally the original user's personality and morality compass that's just dividing, and it's another version of you. It's the same exact version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all it is. Like there's no like, oh well, maybe you want to do something else or want to have free will or all this other bullshit like that one filler ass episode was, and that's just not the case.
Yeah, you can literally do whatever you want, take over the planet, just dominate in any space, any field of discipline, whatever you want to do, man, dominate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shadow Clones juice is incredibly broken when you think about that. With just 2 more of you, you could still use that to increase any skill by a lot. Yeah, dude. Thoughts on Gear 5?
Tremendously.
Thoughts on Gear 5? I would say that it's probably one of the most broken abilities in anime, and I haven't seen One Piece. Just from what I've heard and what slight snippets of information I have on it, it's extremely broken, man. I mean, the guy can anything he imagines comes to reality. I mean, how are you gonna stop that? You know, and apparently
that's ridiculous.
And apparently, there's
like
more.
What
yeah,
abilities?
He has like reality manipulation. Yeah.
Bruh.
Apparently, there's more to that. I think in the last chat, there was a guy telling me about it. I forgot some of the stuff, but extremely.
At that rate, he could technically be able to beat somebody like Goku, but since that's an ability, okay, that means he has to activate it in time. So if Goku's still faster, then no, he still gets fucked. Like, that's the problem. Like, all because you have like reality manipulation or all this other shit. If you can't be able to use the ability in time, then you're still gonna die and get bitched. So
yeah.
But I'm just saying, if he is fast enough, or if he can be in that scaling ballpark, then yeah, he could basically beat anyone at that point because he can just alter reality and make you into fucking, I don't know, diamonds or some shit.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. Like, the only argument for Goku is if it's in character, he'd blitz Luffy before he can even fire his synapses or even deduce a thought in general and kill him. You could argue that. But if Luffy in time can imagine, oh, I'm faster than Goku, then that's not happening. He just literally imagine, oh, I'm faster than Goku, and he's faster. So you could literally just work 20 jobs at once while you stay at home yourself and bring 20 paychecks a week. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, dude. Whatever the fuck you want. Literally.
You're set for life. Yeah, no, you're set for life if you have Shadow Clones.
Yeah, but yeah, folks, any questions?
You can literally have them like around your fucking house, like being on guard, like guard watch. You know what I mean? Like to make sure nobody's trying to assassinate you or some shit.
Yeah, you could literally stay asleep and have guards outside, and they're just all you. The only backfire effect or negative side effect is the fatigue you'll feel once you stop using the clones.
True.
Like if you use a fuck ton, you like die of exhaustion. So you don't have to pace yourself.
All-nighters or some shit, and they go back to you, and you feel that shit. Yeah, good luck.
You'd have to definitely pace yourself, like Naruto did. Yeah.
You can't be reckless, because then you can kill yourself or some shit, or overdo it. You know.
Yeah.
Overstimulate yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to pace yourself, but you'd still be extremely dominant. So.
You're fucking dope.
Yeah. So let me see the Discord where other questions were asked. Feel free to keep asking questions, folks. Super chats, or if you're a member, get priority. Are the pocket dimensions in Naruto places someone can find in space, for instance? Could Momo find the common dimension if he looked hard enough? Pocket dimensions, I think you have to have the ability to access them. I don't think you can access them without that prerequisite. Like a Natsuki could, Sasuke could, obviously Obito could. So I don't think you could theoretically find it in space somewhere. At least that's never been implied in the narrative from what I know. I think you have to either be genetically predisposed to it or have an implant of someone else's eye that has that ability. So I'll probably say no. Momo can I'm pretty sure already go through different dimensions. He meets the prerequisite anyway. So he wouldn't necessarily even need to find the pocket dimensions in space in the first place. He could just instantaneously access it regardless. So, yeah. Look at the stream. Oh, look what Spencer said. I don't understand how the hell you think Shinobi won. That's surprising. He thinks Shinobi lost the debate.
Wait, what?
Spencer said, I'm judging the debate right now, and I don't understand how you think Shinobi won.
Oh, like Spencer from there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Surprising that he said that.
Hey, it is what it is. Shit.
I still think
Jay reviewed twice. Yeah.
I still think Shinobi won. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, the only way Ken could have, like I said, pulled it off is if he was able to get his guy in KCM2 scaling ballpark, basically. Exactly. And I don't think he was able to do that. Best case scenario, what's it called? It was either they stalemated on that, which I believe was the case, or worst case scenario, Shinobi just got that just barely. in the beginning, and then everything else it kind of basically dived into was the whole aspect of Itachi to Obito, and then to the KCM1, blah blah yada yada. And if Minato was also KCM1, meaning therefore, they would clearly have equal scaling in a sense, and it just basically boils down to abilities and jutsu.
Yeah.
So, and since that was, in my opinion, won by Shinobi, it was just more stronger evidence, like all the empirical evidence, you name it. Just everything he used, like the narrative, like with Obito and Itachi, blah blah, Itachi's feats, all that other shit, yada yada. Like that's basically it. And for like throughout the fucking debate, there was just certain points in times where like Ken thought he had it, like so he didn't even need to provide anything, and they just kept moving forward.
Yeah, he literally said a couple times, "I don't need to respond to that." Like, what do you mean you don't? So no, I don't think he won. So, but yeah, feel free to watch that, folks. Let us know. What's your thoughts on the Batman no killing rule? Because I notice a lot of people hate him for not killing his villains, but they let Superman and other heroes slide. This is what I'll say about the no killing rule. It's a double-edged sword.
Yep.
It's meant to represent like the epitome of justice that Batman is as a character, which I respect. Of course, he's just the epitome of justice. He just believes that taking one's life is morally irredeemable. So, actually, give me a second, folks. I'll be right back. 1 second. Oh, shit.
No.
I shall be here until he's back. Wait. What's it called? No, you guys can ask for the stuff you want, whatever. And he'll come back for the morality of it. But while he's gone, though, for the Batman no killing thing, I guess I'll give like a little bit of what I think on that. Once again, it's similar to what Jay's saying. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Like it mainly boils down to what you're kind of dealing with. It's more circumstantial. So when it really comes to it, there's going to be certain points where killing could obviously be the right call to do. And then there's going to be points where it's not generally necessary, because there's the whole aspects of like redemption, forgiveness, etc. People can, have the ability to change, whatnot, or people make mistakes, whether people are doing things out of just being broken or if they're doing things out of desperation, etc. Like there's a lot of variables and aspects to where that's why when it comes to no killing, then there you go. And then most important, the way to think about it is not killing someone like let's say you were to kill a guy, because they did like, I don't know, did something bad or whatever, murdered. Like, all right, cool, you killed the guy, but guess what? He killed someone. That doesn't make you any different. It just kind of makes you the same fucking concept, Or there's like a saying to where like, if you, kill like 50 freaking murderers or whatever, then guess what? You're just the same in that capacity because you killed also 50 plus fucking people. Like, and better yet, and what's to say if for you to not break or snap or make mistakes or you start going on the verge to where you just start going on a fucking killing spree, you name it, and then basically you could just be the death entity to everyone and whatnot. So like it's very contentious. It boils down to a lot of philosophy stuff, morality aspects of things. But the best way to go about it is it's circumstantial. There's really no right or wrong in a sense. It's a very double-edged sword. Like I'll say this, when it comes to someone like fucking Joker, who literally is like doing genocide, like some fucking disgusting ass Hitler shit and killing thousands upon thousands of people or all this other crazy stuff or just absurd, monstrous, nasty shit. It kind of comes to the line like, all right, that should be enough, right? Like that should just not even, cause let's be real. Like look at our world as an example. We have the death penalty, and the death penalty, the way that shit fucking works is if somebody's doing something very horrendous or very, bad, they just put them on a death penalty, and that's it. You know what I mean? Depending on certain crimes and whatnot. Well, and then again, there's certain states where they don't have a death penalty at all, and they'll just give you like a life sentence, and you just go to jail for the rest of your fucking life. But it kind of just boils down to like whether or not if it's should be put upon or not. That's kind of like the best way to analyze it. I don't think you should just be killing people just for shits and giggles or 24/7 or like whatever. I feel like it depends on what variables are there. That's what it really boils down to. So, and yeah, that's just kind of what you're working with. So with Batman's like no killing rule, It can be good for the majority, but it can also be really bad when it needs to be done for certain individuals because they're just too much. Like they're just it's not it does more damage than letting them stay alive. You know what I mean? So like if you want to do more good and save people, don't you think it would be a lot more beneficial for you to put someone down like the Joker? You know, like you would save way more lives than compared to the one life you're sparing. You know, so that's how I will feel on that. But I'm assuming Jay will say some things very similar or something upon that as well. So one moment, I'm gonna check your stuff on YouTube. Wanna
I returned, folks.
nice. I gave a little speech of my thing with Batman and whatnot. It was a lot. It was basically saying in a nutshell that it's circumstantial. It really boils down to certain things and aspects, you know, whatnot, to where it can be beneficial to, and or points where it's not, because you know, people have like the redemption, you know, or the whole concept of redemption or forgiveness, or people have the ability to change, etc.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. You know what I mean? Double-edged sword, like you were saying. And like I feel like when it really comes down to it, it can be good or bad. It just depends on how you're utilizing the aspect of it. You know, one example, Joker, you know what I mean? Like he's over here, like if it's someone that's fucking committing genocide and doing some nasty ass Hitler shit and all these lies or whatever, at that point you could probably come to a rational decision and be like, yeah, I think it'd probably make sense to put that guy fucking down because you're going to be saving a lot more lives than just sparing his alone and trying to hope that he just snaps out of his ways or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, so it just depends, you know, and then it goes the other way. All right, what? Are you just going to fucking kill every fucking criminal? You know what I mean? Or kill every guy that's either stealing or murdered on accident or this or that? It's like, that's kind of silly, you know? So it just depends. But
Yeah, so Batman, like I said, it's a double-edged sword with his agenda. Essentially, it's meant to represent and illustrate how he's the epitome of justice, and that no matter how egregious or malicious an antagonist is, he won't take their life because he's just better than that. And I respect that. The antithetical side to that is that with that comes inevitable tragedy that could have been avoided if you were just willing to take a life for some of the most malicious, like Joker, for example. But I think in his head, the way he rationalizes that is, yeah, people's lives are being lost because I'm not taking his life, but I have to represent the moral compass of justice.
the higher
No matter,
moral.
yeah, he has to represent the moral compass of justice, and he has to
Yep.
stay as pure as he possibly can. On top of that, I think he knows himself that he's just a human being, and he's reiterated this
'Cause
a
you
couple times. He said
know
that,
better.
yeah, a couple times he reiterated this. He said, "If I take a life, I don't think I'll be able to stop. Like if I take one life and I get a taste of what that's like, and I like indulge my vengeance, I will continue to do it. But Joker won't be the last. I'll take more lives to probably from some of the most malicious, like."
And now he's the
Like
problem, where it doesn't
Zaz.
matter that all those villains are there. Now, with
Yeah.
him doing it, it's just as bad or worse.
Yeah, so
You know?
there's two reasons. One, he wants to represent justice being able to prevail. You really get a good glimpse of that symbolism in The Dark Knight, where he says, "Hey, man, you're even." When he talks to Harvey Dent, he's like, and he thought before he became Two-Face, he's like, "Dude, I don't need to be Batman anymore. You're a more pure form of justice than even me. You don't even have to throw a punch, and you're cleaning up the streets of Gotham. You're the epitome of justice now. They don't need me anymore." And then Harvey Dent obviously is like, "You're wrong. We still need you." And obviously Joker ended up corrupting Harvey, and ended up literally killing the love of his life and burning half of his face off. And at the end of the day, Batman prevailed as the epitome of justice. But essentially, he wants to represent justice, and Harvey Dent almost replaced him in The Dark Knight, at least continuity. So he just would rather not go to those lengths of taking lives because he thinks he'll never come back from that. And he wants to stay the epitome of justice. That's extremely important to him. That's like a vow he made to himself. So
Yeah, it's really interesting, and like most important to further establish why Batman chooses, because like there's two different questions of whether or not if the no killing rule is good or not. That's a whole separate question, and to why, to where like if, and then the other question of like, is it good for Batman to have a no killing rule? Those are two separate questions. You know what I mean? So if we're boiling down to like Batman, is it good or beneficial for him to do what he's doing? It's a, for the most part, you could say yes, it's good that that's what he's doing, because once again, with everything Jay said, and then two, to like, you know, to show justice, to give everyone a fair shot, you name it, blah blah, yada yada. You don't want to go out of control. Self control is a very important element, especially in humanity. We're fucking crazy. So like, no matter what, it really just boils down to like what's going to give you more value in a good sense, right? You know what I mean? And for what Batman does, it's good because he's seen as a hero. He's seen as a person to endure. He's seen as a person to not break and to not be just like the villains or snap or lose control, and you name it. He's kind of an inspiration to show like what you should strive to be and to how to go about things even when things just seem so like lost or just hopeless.
Yeah.
Like that's the aspect. And then with his parents, that was one of the biggest reason, the trauma from that and everything, to where he doesn't want to be nothing like the guy that shot his parents down. He does not ever want to be that entity in an aspect to where even if it could be for a good reason, he feels like that would just make him just as bad as well. And there's always a better way, or there's always a way to maybe prevent the conflict or the chaos. You know what I mean? Why end it if you have ways to prevent it or have defensive mechanisms, etc., then that can be just as beneficial and good. And most importantly, it can be able to help in the whole concept of, protecting humans, giving them the mental treatment and care they need, blah, blah. Like, that's why you have Arkham Asylum and shit.
Yeah.
It's basically focusing on certain defense or systems that we have to give humans the help that they need. Because the brain is one of the most, like, confusing and mysterious places,
Yeah, essentially.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Batman, there's moments in his career where we've seen... Oh, first of all, what's going on, Chidori? Thanks for coming in. There's a couple instances that we see where he starts to question his own ideologies. An example is when, during the end of the Arkham City video game, Joker's like, just give me the cure. We know you're going to give it to me. He's like, you know what? Why should I? You're just going to... I stop you. You just break out, kill more people. And ironically, he was going to give the cure to him, but Joker, being overzealous and impatient, stabs Batman and literally forced his hand. He literally forced his hand to let go of the cure, and he dies on the spot. Batman still said, you know what? After everything that's happened, I still would have saved you. Like, he still was going to be that symbol of justice and save him. And Batman kind of blames himself, it seems implied, after that, the death of the Joker, when he's like walking him out, almost showing respect to Joker, which is kind of bizarre. Even though Joker is like a malicious, evil entity of chaos, he walks him out. All the Arkham Asylum inmates are like, holy shit, what the fuck happened in there? He just walks him out, and it's never really the same. If you play the DLC, even by Barbara and Tim talk about it, like he hasn't been the same since fucking Joker's death. This changed him. So he never wanted to go to that place. Joker kind of forced him to go to that place. He couldn't save him. He died on the spot.
It's just how it is, and it's mainly about tipping the scales. You know what I mean? Like he wants to keep the scales balanced.
Yeah.
Because he knows that if he's not, having, following certain virtues and in a sense of morality, to where the scales are just going to become unbalanced, to where things could just be more chaotic, or things can be perceived and bad narratives and etc. And it's just a whole other fucking shithole. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
For the most part, it's Batman mainly playing the safe route. I mean, he's playing it safe, and he's doing something that's going to do more good than harm, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of what you're working with. But, at the same time, it's just like what Jay said. There's many moments where he even doubts himself and is conflicted. He's like, is this really the right thing? Like, am I really, because all these lies, maybe if I just was willing to kill that person, all these people would be alive, yada, yada. Like, we even see that brilliantly in the fucking comics and in the animated movie and The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
To where he finally has his final clash for Joker, and he's like, no more. You know what I mean? Like, all the people I've let die and whatever, and this and this and that from letting you live. And he just keeps going and going, and he just paralyzes Joker. He doesn't kill him, but he twists the neck in a way where he's just paralyzed and he can't move, to where he can only really move his head and his neck slightly. And then Joker's like, oh, well, you fucked up. You finally did what I wanted. Cool, thank you. And then he just like moves his neck further into where it's, fully like dislocated.
Exactly.
Kills him.
Yeah. And
so
it seemed like Batman was at peace at that point. He's like, oh, fuck you. Like, he didn't care anymore. Like, I came out of retirement and you fucking come back. I'm glad it's time. I'm done with you. Like, he was done at that point. He looked like tired. It was time for him to retire. He's like, fuck this, fuck Joker. I'll see you in hell then. That's what Joker said to him. I'll see you in hell. And Batman was like, you know what? Okay, I'll see you there. I'm just glad you're not on this earth no more. Like, he was done at
Yeah,
that point.
and at that point, like that particular Batman, he was still not willing to kill anyone. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't just going to kill whatever. He just knew he had at least had to do it for Joker because Joker was just too much. Like
Yeah.
it's not beneficial. Like he spares him, and then hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people die. So he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm tired of it. You know?
He's like this rabid dog that had to be put down. He's like, I can't let him loose anymore. I have to take him out. Yeah, it's like
many years. Fucking old. He's like, am I going to still allow this and play more games with him now? Like, hell no. You know, like
he was just tired and fed up. That's the notion of Batman, the iteration of Batman we got in the Dark Knight continuity. He was done. He's done, man.
Which boils down to the circumstantial notion that like to where there can be points where it can be very beneficial.
Yeah.
You know, to where when to do it, but then there's moments where you just don't because it would do the opposite. There's no need, you know.
Yeah, and Batman for the most continuities won't break it, but there's a couple where he's like, "Fuck it, it's done."
There was one point where it was a similar sense, which this was our Batman as well, the main canon Batman, where it was a Darkseid, where he made a freaking gun, and mind you, he's made a vow to never use guns and never kill, right? But he's like over here pointing it at Darkseid, and he's like, you know what? This is like really the only way to beat you. This is all I've thought so far, whatever. And I never wanted to do this, but if I don't, the whole universe will die. So it's like you're one life, and instead of the whole universe or a multiverse, I rather just choose your death over that. So like even our Batman could eventually come to the rational decisioning to where one life for millions or thousands is better than I mean. So when it really comes down to push and shove, Batman will do that only if he is forced. Only if he's forced.
Very, very rare.
It's very, very rare. And then even then, when he finally pulls the trigger and literally no diffs Darkseid with a fucking gun, okay? Like he shoots Darkseid or whatever, but he actually didn't even shoot him in a lethal spot. He just shot him in an area where he'd be like severely weak and in critical condition, to where then Batman gets hit by his Omega beams, and then Superman comes down all fucking pissed and then beats up Darkseid.
Yeah.
So, it's what you're working with.
Yeah, exactly. So, by the way, for a few guys, like several people have talked about the debate. I'll say this, if we reach $100 in donations on here, we'll react to it right now, and we'll say why Shinobi won. So, if you guys want to do that,
if you want.
If you guys really want to see why we thought Shinobi won, we'll watch it right now, and we'll explain why as we listen.
I can't say it on here, Jay, but it was funny when Spencer, I guess, commented at a certain point and said, "Oh, like I'm judging right now, Shinobi won." I was literally about to say something, like, and you might know what it is, but I was dead ass about to say something like, "Well, coming from someone that thinks this, I don't know if you should be credible right now."
Yeah,
but I fucking.
So if they really want to see why we thought Shinobi won, we'll tell you live. But
it should be pretty straightforward for why Shinobi got it. Like, I don't know, unless it was something we missed. But like I said, I highly doubt. I'm gonna still review it for a second time, just to make sure, because I like to be transparent as much as possible and fair. But for what I remembered and everything that was said and heard, that's kind of what you're working with. So
he won most rounds. So, but we'll do it live again if we reach 100 overall on here. Fuck it, we'll do it right now. I think it's cool. I think he's cool in Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man's a great hero as well. What do people hate on Batman? What do people only hate on Batman? I mean, he's not the only one people hate. People hate all the great. They always find reasons to hate the greats. Batman, Superman.
Yeah, Spider-Man gets similar treatment. Everybody dogs Spider-Man for the same shit.
Goku,
doesn't kill.
Naruto, all the greats. Yeah. If 50% of the population, 50% of the population in America became true pacifists, would this increase or decrease crime in this country? 50%. Well, if it's just straight down the line, and we say 50% of all characteristics of people, like 50% of criminals and civilians, 50% of people with this personality type and this personality type, if it was like straight down the middle, it wouldn't decrease or increase crime. Well, technically, if 50% of the, retracting that, if 50%, exactly 50% of the population became true pacifists in this country, I think proportionally it wouldn't, but numbers-wise it would, if that makes sense. So proportionally it wouldn't, but numbers-wise overall, because there are just blatantly more pacifists, it would decrease crime. because there would be more pacifists that are willing to defend, but also more pacifists. Like the people that are willing to defend are not pacifists, but also the criminals that are once criminals and are pacifists as well. So blatantly, yeah, there'd be probably less crime. So now if you go straight down 50% and you only include for the pacifists people that defend their homes, right? And that's the majority of the individuals that you're pacifying. And then the other side is just criminals and stuff like that. Well, crime will increase because a lot of the people that are willing to defend their homes and use the right to bear arms would no longer be willing to do that. Crime would increase. So it depends on how exactly you pacify America. Debate Spooner on the judgment. I really don't. I mean, it doesn't matter to me that much. Man, I've not debated in so long. My last debate just threw me off. Yeah, debating's cool.
That shit's always funny to me. Whenever it's like somebody asks, like, "Hey, you should debate this guy on the judgment you had."
Yeah,
like,
it's not worth.
Why?
It's not worth debating. What the fuck? Nah.
Like, is it that serious? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's really not that serious.
Like, goddamn. But that reminds me of a bunch of people that always like ask, "So can you debate on the judgment or whatever, blah blah?" Because I don't want to be a fucking sore loser and lose something. Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, dude, it's
so retarded.
It's not that serious. I thought he lost. I listened to it twice. I thought he lost.
Like, I've only heard it once. I mean, from everything I got from that, I thought he lost, and I was extremely fair, fucking for both. I said literally there was tons of contentious value at certain points. Ken did a great job. This and this and that. Whatever, yada yada. But when it came to the most important shit, beginning, nobody got it, or Shinobi slightly had it from what was given and said. And when throughout all the other aspects, the problem was Ken just didn't give more substantiation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that was.
Yeah.
Like, there's just certain points and pieces where if he just gave more, you know what I mean, to where it could have been stronger or provided more, then there you go. Shinobi just did a better job with that in comparison. Yeah. The stuff that he provided, the data books, the narrative statements and everything with Itachi and Obito, all that, then showing Itachi what he can do with KCM and blah, blah, the whole fucking sick shit to alive shit, like, all of it was way stronger for Shinobi.
Yeah, he just
logically made more sense, etc. You name it, like, all Ken was trying to do, which makes sense. I'm pretty sure any person would also try to do the same, is emphasize and imply speculation, or try to make the transparency of something contentious. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or to whether if it's not, not as simple as black and white, basically, is what Ken was doing for the most part. And that's fine. You can do that, but you have that for one, that's like taking the hardest fucking stance, okay, in the face of the planet. Like, good luck trying to fucking really debate whether fire burns you or not. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you can try to debate whether fire can burn you or not, but that's going to be really fucking hard, right? So, like, when you're doing things like that, and the other opponent has the more stronger stance or something that just makes more logical sense and is more plausible, it's only going to go so far. And that's what it was for the most part. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but when they were really arguing about whether sick Itachi was the same as fucking healthy Itachi, that was retarded.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And Shinobi did a good job. He said enough, yada yada, you name it, blah blah. Sick Itachi, like, we just really, it's extremely hard to grasp what he could do, you name it. Everything he really had, he was always either suppressing himself or holding back whatever. The best thing he really had was Obito still considering him a threat, in some form of shape or capacity. But it makes sense, because Itachi was always incredible with chakra control. So even if he's, like, very sick or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, sure, he can still be a threat, you know what I mean? Even though he is sick, he can still be a threat, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to comparing himself to, like, fully, like, prime, with no sickness of coughing fucking blood and nearly being blind and yada yada, like, all that, obviously a normal fucking healthy peak person is going to be more better. Yeah. That's just, like, it's common sense, So, like, when it really comes down to it, if you really just listen and analyze the fucking debate, that's what it was for the most part. So I really don't get how the fuck people are saying Ken got that.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
He would put himself in harder stances. Like, yeah, sick Itachi is above healthy Itachi, because we never see healthy Itachi. Like, it doesn't appeal to ignorance, and it's axiomatic that someone that's sick is going to be inferior to themselves when they're in their prime. Like, it's an axiomatic point. From my memory,
there was a lot of argument of ignorance.
Yeah,
throughout the entire lot of argument of ignorance that was being put out from Ken the whole fucking time.
Yeah, there's points where he's like,
there's points like, well, no.
There's points where he said, "I'm just not going to respond." I think I won that point. Like, he wasn't willing to further substantiate a couple times. Like, why would I give it to him? I don't understand that. That's
so like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, there was even a point where like fucking Ken brought up an analogy with apples, to where like all because they're both apples, you know what I mean, doesn't mean like that the other apple is like rotten or whatever necessarily, whatever. Like then there was points where he was just bringing up false equivalence.
Yeah,
Shinobi did a good job.
He was trying to argue that. He was trying to argue that not all Edos are. He was trying to argue that not all Edos are virtually full power, and the only thing he tried to use to substantiate that was a disanalogous analogy. He's like, "Oh, some apples are rotten, some are not." I'm like, "How does that prove that not all Edos are virtual full power? Like, we're not talking about apples."
What Shinobi did? Want to know what he did? He brings up multiple references and points and examples.
Yeah.
With Hashirama and Madara, with Tobirama saying exactly verbatim, exactly of how close they were to their power. You know what I mean? Then all the way in the beginning with fucking Kabuto with those Edos. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And whatnot. Like, he brought up multiple references and brought up multiple examples to indicate and prove the higher possibility that all the Edos are the exact same and they're close to their powers and shit. You know, like...
He won most of the rounds. It is what it is. The Yadamir point, he won that. He won the Genjutsu argument. He won that. He won most of the points. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, Ken even gave the fucking Genjutsu thing. He conceded it.
Yeah, he didn't
want
want
to... Like, I'm not find the Naruto scan or whatever. Like, fine, I'll just give you that.
Yeah, he didn't want to look for the scan. So, yeah, no, he lost. I mean, it is what it is, man. If it were vice versa and it was Ken in Shinobi's position, then Shinobi would have lost. It is what it is.
Like, in my personal opinion, I think Spencer saying the judgment's wrong and like with Ken taking it over Shinobi, I think that's a lot more worse than me saying D1 beat Spencer in their fucking debate. Like, I'm just being real with you, because that was like a fucking hella contentious fucking debate. It was very, very good, but I do think D1 got it in the most important points, you name it. But this shit, for the most part, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it was decisive.
It wasn't like extremely contentious. It had some contentious value, but for the most part, Shinobi just had the stronger edge throughout.
The beginning was the most contentious. After that, it really wasn't. And
Spencer's over here calling me out like wrong on that fucking judgment. I'm like, bro, I don't know, but then over here, like, come on now, that's ridiculous.
Like, I don't really care regardless. Like, I gave my judgment. It is what it is. So, it's done. I didn't give that point. What do you say? I can't even fucking read it. This fucking shit's in the way. I didn't give that point. I said the other fox could break him free. Yeah, but Shinobi substantiated pretty well that he would just be faster. And he would take care of that.
Yeah, the other things don't scale to like the two people that are there. Like the fact that he said that they're scaling, that if they're nowhere near whatever, they're not even going to be relevant for the fight.
Yeah.
Like Shinobi said, like, how far do they scale? You would have to prove that they can even scale or be a threat in the fight and whatnot. And you name it, blah blah.
Yeah, he substantiated.
And he also said like, they could also just get Genjutsu'd. You know what I mean? Like, or if one of them gets hit by Tsukiyomi, like, there's no way for any of them to even know. Like, he gave plenty of substantiation and like counter refutation to name it for all that.
And then when the scan was, you said you would provide one. You said, nah, never mind. So, nah.
And mind you, I'm just going off memory. I'm not saying, like, at least for me, Jay's going off like his whole analysis for the 2 times, but I'm just going off my memory for what I heard and remembered or whatever, blah blah. So I will admit, maybe I'm tripping or something.
And either way, even if he won that point, he won the speed point with the Itachi versus Obito part. So that would have been negligible regardless.
That's the most important thing. The whole fucking premise that Shinobi had in order to win the debate, which is very reasonable, what the majority, a lot of people would probably do as well, is as long as he can establish that Minato is in the same ballpark as Itachi with the whole KCM scaling and shit, you know what I mean, whatnot, and then the whole Obito and whatnot, you name it, blah, blah. And the reason why he was doing the whole Obito stuff with Itachi was to show, like, the whole fucking thing, like, correlating to even pain, you name it, blah, blah. If he was able to establish that main premise, then therefore it just boils down to Jutsu's arsenal, and then therefore Itachi would be over and win.
Yeah.
So.
To argue against the Obito-Itachi relativity, if I was debating, is that Obito was talking shit to Madara on the Tentos to imply that Obito wasn't scared of Madara, so why would he care about Itachi? Well, I mean, if I provide him calling Itachi a threat, that's why he cares about Itachi.
Yeah, there was two moments where it's brought up. It was Shinobi brought up the massacre Uchiha Itachi got moment, and then he even brought up the fucking when he's speaking to Sasuke, which is Orange Mask.
Yeah, Shinobi's best round was at Obito versus Itachi. Scaling. That was
And
the
then
best
like
round.
Ken's whole thing was basically like, oh no, only Itachi's jutsus and stuff can scale to Obito, but not necessarily his stats or him as a person.
Yeah.
And Obito gave like his refutation and whatnot and explained why that wouldn't make any sense, and it would have to be like Itachi being able to enable and force that, because then it would just be redundant, because that just wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter whether if it's your jutsu or whatever. Like you have to scale to the person in order to enforce.
He refuted that by using the Obito and Itachi compromise when they're younger. That refuted Ken's point.
Yeah, brought that on further, reinforce that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he won that decisively. The Itachi Obito scaling, he won that round decisively. So.
Yeah, and then I think, and Ken's whole thing with the whole massacre and whatnot and everything was that I'm trying to actually remember exactly what he said. But it was along the lines of to where it was more of I actually just can't remember anymore. I remember yesterday I said it, but I just can't remember. But either way, what I do remember is Shinobi was it was basically a concession. You know what I mean? That they both acknowledge each other's power, whatever, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. I don't remember exactly what Ken said of that, but I'm just going to be honest with you. That's extremely, extremely hard to fucking go against. That makes no logical fucking sense for someone to agree to an ultimatum or a compromise. If you're that much more fucking powerful, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense. You would just fucking kill him and take his eyes at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or just force him to do your bidding and be like, nah, you're going to do what I fucking want. Fight him, and then he's on his knees and are you going to listen now and be a good boy? That wasn't the fucking case. You know what I mean? He's like, okay. He's clearly a threat. He's clearly something. I respect him, whatever. Fine, we'll do that. But I have terms. As long as you don't use, your shotgun against me, then I won't do anything against the hitman for your brother.
So this will be the last point. Last point I discuss on this. I could have financial incentive, discuss it more. Maybe me and Batman could in our private time watch it again, on our own. Unless someone we get to 100 here in this stream, we'll do it live. Let's see. He never told me why Itachi would know he could kill Obito. He doesn't need to. He said he literally brought up he explained the illustration between Obito and Itachi where he said, "I will kill you," and Obito's like, "All right, we'll work together." So him knowing why it doesn't matter. Obito pseudo conceding to that reinforces he sees Itachi as a threat. So that's not relevant to that point. But that's the last time I bring it up. So unless someone unless someone pays me to discuss it more, that's the last time I talk about it.
Yeah. This is the last thing I'll say. Objectively, Obito conceded. Objectively, what we do know, bare minimum, he fucking conceded and was willing to work with him after Itachi flat out threatened his ass.
Yeah, he literally said, "I will kill you."
We can try to think of all the reasons why, or speculate of why Obito, whatever, this and that. Bottom line is that's all just interpretation ass shit. You know what I mean? That we just don't know at the end of the fucking day. What we do know is he was threatened and he was willing to work whatever, which is a form of fucking concession.
Yeah,
it's that fucking and has to at least bare minimum prove that there is relativity, because you're not going to threaten someone if you're not at least relative to them.
Yeah, and you're not going to concede to compromise unless you're relative also. So
literally.
But yeah, that's the last time I talk about that shit, unless you pay me. So Chidori asked, it is more likely or less why I don't debate anymore. It's because it mostly turns into packing or shouting, just name calling at that point. What are your thoughts on debates these days and how they devolve into this? I think it's just overinflated egos, man. It's really not that serious. It's a debate on fictional based reality. It's as simple as that. And
right, bro.
Yeah, and I would say that is why I'm very cautious on who I pick and choose to debate. I have to know that the guy's competent and that the guy doesn't have an overinflated ego and that the guy's willing to engage in just attacking each other's premises. That's it. Not attacking each other, not using fallacious sophist. I mean, that's not too bad. If the sophist nature is ad hominems, then that's extremely toxic. If the sophist nature is more so more subtle and clever, that's fine, because you're doing it in a clever way and it might work in your favor depending on who you're debating. But if it's just you shouting and name calling and trying to strongman your way through the debate, that's not the type of person I want.
Or to show you're way beyond or superior to your opponent and just be blatantly toxic and disrespectful or be ego fucking. It's what's the point? I mean,
it's not,
at that point you're basically talking to a wall.
To me, there's no incentive to debate people like that, unless they're a huge name and I gain something from it, business wise.
Yeah.
But guess what? Most guys that are big names don't act like that. So the guys that I've talked to, they're not like that.
They don't think. correct or right. They don't fucking think. You know what I mean, like no, they're either humble people, or better yet, like they're very like respectful about it. They're mutually, they'll mutually compromise in a sense, so they'll understand whatever. Now, at the end of the day, if they're way beyond you in skill, whatever, blah blah, then obviously they're gonna have every right to shit talk, maybe, or this, or be like, hey, you got a lot of work to do, yada yada yada. But even when it comes to the most best like professional people, whether if it's in real life or not, you know what I mean, or whatnot, like even those people are like very, very simple fucking people.
Yeah.
Like,
Majority of guys that are respected, they don't have those egos, in general. So yeah, I'm very wary on who I pick too. So I understand that for sure.
yeah.
Why is it a concession again? That never answer. I'm not gonna answer that. I feel like Itachi found a way to counter Kamui. Who knows? We never know. We'll never know. I don't think so. Actually, probably not, because he would have killed Obito if he did. He tried to kill Obito with through Sasuke's eyes, but that failed. So no, he probably didn't, because even Obito said if he would have learned my secret, implying he never did learn about Kamui. So he probably doesn't know.
Oh, there was another moment too. This is all technically off topic of the debate because like no one brought it up, and but there was even another point like in the fucking. I remember it was in the Naruto movie where like Obito was in there and like Itachi pulls up on him from like that verse, and then Obito's like, man, no matter what universe you're in, you're always a fucking problem, and just concedes the battle and runs away.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't fucking really do it. I can't do anything against it, whatever. And Itachi's like, okay, physical attacks can't be able to work on you, but I do have other abilities that can be able to defeat you or some shit. And then he's like, Itachi with the fire that never, or something along those lines, and then just literally concedes and just runs away and uses Kamui.
Yeah.
I'm just being real with you. There's plenty of stuff to at least put Itachi bare minimum in the ballpark to be a threat to Obito. Like there's so much. And it's like act like it's just fucking out of this world or some shit.
Shinobi provided most of it. So, let's see. Look at you guys. Feel free to ask questions that are not related to the debate. Not focused. Probably the last we'll speak of it, unless someone pays to have us react to it or some shit, or someone super chats a question about the debate. Besides that, I'm done discussing it. Would y'all consider adding more people to the crew? Oh, this is, by the way, on Discord, folks, where I'm reading this from. In the sense of hosting and podcasts, like how y'all did with the interviews and stuff. Adding more people to the crew, like long term. I think once you have too many, like 4+, it starts to get really disorganized. So probably not. I might consider like when maybe like Batman or Shinobi or both can't make it, having like other hosts that can come on, like when they're not available. That might be a possibility. But having like 5-6 people at once is just a mess. It's basically just a random Discord call at that point. It's not really organized. So, but feel free to keep asking questions, folks, while I look at the pre-established questions here. Let's see. Does Boruto scale under Jigen Ishiki or over him now? It's quite ambiguous. I know there's a statement that Code is above Jigen, and Jigen was the one that slammed Naruto and Sasuke in their primes. I don't think him stomping Code in the face is enough to substantiate him being above Code. So I would say it's a possibility. I would say it's very possible that he is currently, but I wouldn't concretely say one way or the other. So it's possible. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have besides the debate shit, unless you super chat a question about it. UFC, unless a ton of you ask questions about the debate, then I have to listen to the people at that point. Let's see. What would happen if Itachi implanted Tsukuyomi or Izanami instead of Amaterasu for Obito? Also, what would he make him see? That's a good question, actually. Tsukuyomi would kill him. That probably would work. I don't see him getting out of that unless he can literally react to it before the jutsu reaches his chakra network and the Kamui is away, which I doubt is likely. He almost failed to react to even Amaterasu. I don't think Amaterasu is as fast as Tsukuyomi, which can literally achieve things in picoseconds. I highly doubt that. If it's Izanami and it hits him, that would stop him and make him find his real self. Maybe he'll become like Naruto. He'll become who he would have became if Madara never manipulated him. He'd probably make him see like his past and stuff like that, like Kabuto. Kabuto's trying to find himself. So Izanami would reform him, and then Tsukuyomi would kill him. And if he were in this Tsukuyomi, what he would see is probably torture. I don't think Itachi liked Obito too much. I don't think he'd go out of his way to torture him, but I think he would torture him and dispose of him. So, break him. Do you have any fight training, like boxing and whatnot? I'm currently doing boxing for about a month now. Yeah, so I did boxing for a long time. I actually started out from a very young age. I was a rowdy kid, so my father put me in boxing at a very young age. I started around 9 or 10. I remember my first day, I got my ass beat by this Cuban kid. He beat the shit out of me. I didn't know how to throw a punch yet. It was about 9 or 10. My parents were like literally almost crying because I got my ass beat. I got my ass beat for about a couple months, and then I got better and better. And eventually, around age, what age was it? 12. I got in the amateurs. I did the amateurs for a few years, up until almost college. So I did that for a few years. MMA, actually, I started MMA the same time I started boxing. I only did that for a year or two. I didn't enjoy it as much. I did a little bit of jiu-jitsu, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of kickboxing. I still remember snippets of each, but boxing is what I stuck with for over almost a decade. Then I stopped in college. I just got too busy. Could have maybe gone professional. I'm not saying I'm Canelo or anything, but I could have tried it out, see how I would have done. But I just thought the money wasn't too good. Realistically, most boxers don't make shit, man. They make they fight maybe 2-3 times a year. They make $4,000 or $5,000 a year, and overall that's 15K a year. That ain't shit in modern day. And then you have to give a proportion of that to your manager, to your trainers, to medical stuff. It's a fucking mess. So it just wasn't worth the juice. Wasn't worth the squeeze, man. So that's the training I have. It taught me a lot of ideological things, though. That comes with the sport. So boxing is very grueling with the cardio. Oh, dude, trust me. I know it definitely is. I've been out of shape and out of my prime for a few years. Yeah, boxing is grueling, man. It's the road work. I would argue wrestling is probably more tiring because it's just pure physical contact for the entire time until the match is over. You have to manipulate another man to your will. But boxing is very grueling as well. It's very, very grueling. If you're out of shape, you will be exhausted in a minute or two. If you don't know how to breathe when you throw your strikes, you don't know how to breathe in between strikes, you will be exhausted in about 30 seconds. Maybe a minute. So, where's Batman at? I think he's not here right now. Thoughts on the Fresh and Fit situation and Myron crying on stream? Oh, dude. I'm going to be straight up. I'm a Fresh and Fit fan, and honestly, dude, they've helped me a lot in my own life. I've had I'm no victim or nothing, but I had tougher times years prior, and they helped. So I've always been a supporter of Fresh and Fit. I know they have harsh means of, relaying what reality is like in the dating marketplace, but I'm a supporter of those two. It was tough to see, man, to see Myron and Fresh with looks of concerns on their face because the end may come near. It was tough to see. And Myron's actually even DM'd me before. This as I'm a fan. I'm not special or anything. He DMs, I think, a lot of guys. I DM'd him to say, hey man, just don't give up. Fucking keep going. Just don't give up. And he hearted the DM. He actually reads the shit. He reads your DMs even if you're just an average person like me. So I hope they make it, man. I hope they make it and they triumph over this hard time and this valley that they're in. Sucks. I think it sucks. I haven't done any sparring yet, as I'm only doing fundamentals right now. I'm not sure if I want to go into competitive sparring or sparring in general. I think even just light sparring is beneficial. You get sharper. You have punches coming towards you. You have another man trying to hit you. Maybe not a full power if you're going light. Competitive sparring, it's gonna take some time to get used to. Going full speed. It took me a while. I was even as a child. I would say take it slow. Ease your way into sparring. Spar with guys won't go all out and try to prove something against you. Go with guys you can trust. Guys that will go 50-40%. And just spar with them. Get loose. Find your rhythm. I think that comes with experience. Once you get into the groove, you start to go into that flow state, what I call it. To that flow state when you're striking, things start to just connect. Cylinders, you just start to fire on all cylinders. I would say take it easy with that. Ease your way into that. Footwork is a little awkward for me. Honestly, ladder drills did a lot of work, good for me in footwork stuff. The ladder drills, the cone drills. The gym I'm going to has a competitive team that competes and stuff. Yeah, I would first see how you feel in sparring. If you enjoy it, you have and act for it, then consider it. Some guys just don't like to spar, and that's okay. Some guys just don't like getting hit in the face, you know, so certainly not for everybody. Speaking of boxing, it's been a good time for boxing fans with the great fights that have come. Crawford versus Spence and Canelo fighting Charlo in next month. UFC as well. It's good times. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have at all, feel free to ask. Any questions at all? I'll keep reading these questions until you guys have some. And I think Batman's busy right now.
No, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay, there he is. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have, it can be combat sports like Chidori just asked. It could be whatever. I'm curious about how much stronger Sasuke has become after the Boruto time skip. Certainly ambiguous because we haven't seen him in action. He wasn't even present, from my knowledge, in the new chapter. If I had to rationalize, I would say he definitely trained. I mean, him and Boruto are rogue. I'm sure he's just not going to sit around and mentor Boruto. I'm sure he wants to become more capable. I'm going to say he's improved. I'm not going to say he jumped leaps and bounds like Boruto, but I'm going to say he's maybe learned a trick or two. He has a trick or two up his sleeve. That's probably the
Like
most...
the way...
Yeah.
No, you're good, brother. The way I see it is like it's either he's either like the best way to explain it is like Sasuke would be like Soning tier as of now, while Boruto and all those other people are like obviously like beyond Soning, you know what I mean? Like in that Tachi Intel level and Obito level of scaling and
exactly.
shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if you really want to even be more unfortunate because they're just that strong, they would be like towards Madara and Hashirama like levels, you know what I mean, in comparison.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Sasuke is strong, but not really. And like once he lost his Rinnegan and all that, he kinda like was, fucked in the sense.
Yeah,
So,
like he's probably going to be stronger just because of time skip. People are inherently stronger. Antagonists are stronger. Unless they want to kill him off immediately, which would be insane. I don't think they're going to do that. He'll probably compete maybe. So he'll be a little bit stronger, but I doubt it'll be like leaps and bounds like Boruto. So that's what I would say.
Barry could probably get maybe to the level he was at when he had the Rinnegan,
Yeah, maybe there. But yeah, I wouldn't say he's substantially stronger. If I had to guess. Obviously, we won't know until we see it. When I had football, I had good footwork. Yeah, football is really good for footwork also. Where do you scale Boruto now? 2 now under or over Ishiki? Oh, Ishiki, I would say he's probably under. There's not enough empirical evidence for me to conclude that. He's stomped Code in the face. At wanking him at his most, he'd be above Jigen, but I don't see him being above Ishiki right now. Currently. Again, this is just my speculative conclusion. Of course, we just don't know yet. But
I've heard so much about Ishii that he's just no jokes. I just already know. Like,
yeah, he's fucking broken as hell. Unless there's a statement next chapter, or an amazing feat that's stated like, "Oh, this is even better than Ishiki" or some shit like that. Then maybe then, but right now, no. I think he's under Ishiki. Maybe Jigen.
You just don't know.
Maybe Jigen, but I don't know. Ishiki, I doubt it. Yeah. I more or less started to get in shape. I used to do football. About 9 months before COVID, I was pretty big. Dude, COVID fucked up a lot of shit for a lot of people, for sure, man. Just, it killed a lot of people's momentum. The gyms closed down. Fucking everything was shut down. Stuck in your goddamn house for months. Almost, like, over a year. It sucked,
it was
man.
everything.
Yeah. It was a halted society. You know, in a way we haven't seen since, who knows, man, centuries of time. So, let's see, but I've been weightlifting for years to the point where I just don't have the drive I used to. Yeah, consistency is the most challenging part for very rigorous physical activity. You know, it's just after years and years and years, unless you're like a competitive athlete, it's hard to stay disciplined. You know, because maybe you're in your career now, you have a family now, you're working in a 9 to 5, you come home, you're fucking tired, you have to take care of the kids, put them to sleep, and by the time all that's done, it's like it's nighttime, you're like, fuck it, man, I don't feel like working out. You know, it's tough. You just gotta find that conviction, you know. Hot take, Nikola Jokic is a top 3 offensive player of all time? Maybe currently, I would have no problem with it, but all time, he'd have to do a little more for me to say something that crazy. I think he's already in rare air already all time. Extremely efficient as a big man. One of the best shooters I've ever seen as far as big men as well. As far as top three, I'd have to throw. Currently, I'll probably have like Jordan in there, offensively. Maybe Chamberlain, maybe Shaq. I don't know if he's in that rare area yet. LeBron would probably be in there, arguably, in that like top three all time. But as far as Jokic, he's up there, but he hasn't done quite enough for me to say he's all time top three. Currently, he is for sure. He's arguably the best offensively right now. Wouldn't Kawhi be, let's say, same as Ishiki now? He definitely has a better utilization of Ishiki's dojutsu, for sure. We see it in the chapter. But for me to say he's on Ishiki's level, it's tough to say. It's possible. We'll learn more soon. I would say probably not. That's quite the jump in power. Probably not. I'm fully in my career now. I do fire suppression, basically kitchen suppression systems and fire. Yeah, that sounds like a busy practice. So yeah, it would be hard to find time for doing something like that. Hands on, yeah. So. Let's see more questions here. Oh, this is a good question. Could the third or fourth Raikage survive C4? And if not, is there any non-6 path character that could? That's a good question. Could they survive C4? Well, the Raikage stalemated the E-tail several times. So if I had to deduce, I'm sure in one of those instances, Gyuki had to fire a Bijou Bomb. And he survived it. Or dodged it, perhaps. Oh shit, $2 from Mojo. I appreciate that, Mojo. Thanks for the $2, man. Appreciate that. War Kakashi versus Sasuke, the one that fought Danzo, or EMS. So War Kakashi versus the one that fought Danzo. So Sasuke is blatantly superior to Danzo. He literally kills him multiple times. He's able to react to the Raikage as well, at least in V1. War Kakashi, as far as his speed, certainly has improved as in comparison to the Pain arc. He's reacting to V2 Jinchurikis, but even that is something that the Raikage wouldn't have trouble doing, because there's a large discrepancy in power from the 7-tailed beasts, like 7-tail and below, to the 8 and 9-tails as far as Jinchurikis. We see the 8 and 9-tailed Jinchurikis blatantly superior to the 7-tailed and below. I mean, they're literally fighting all of them at once, right? Or arguably all of them, I believe, 6 of them at least. So essentially, there's a large discrepancy. So because of that, I think qualitatively, Sasuke has better scaling, even in the fight against Danzo. Arguably, he's even stronger against Danzo than he was against the Raikage. If you use Karin's statement, he's like, oh, his chakra, it's cold, it's changed. Like, he's increasing. She's implying that he's getting more powerful from his hatred. So I would deduce that probably Sasuke would win, more than likely. Kakashi's best win con is obviously Kamui. He could snipe snipe Sasuke, possibly, and he could snipe very large objects at this point. He was able to Kamui Gyuki, who's an entire tailed beast away, to utilize him as a tool. So that's his best win con. But I honestly don't think he has the speed to contend with Sasuke. So I'd probably say Sasuke would defeat him. He has Amaterasu, he has Indra's Arrow. He has a ton of tools at his disposal. So most likely Sasuke. And if it's EMS Sasuke, he's blatantly defeating Kakashi. That's not even contentious. So that'll be my conclusion on that. But great, thanks again for the $2, Mojo. Appreciate that. Do you all ever see Eddie Hall versus Half Thor? There's a boxing match between strongmen. I think I saw highlights. Unfortunately, Eddie's bicep was torn a few months prior. Eddie's legitimately all right, and so is Half Thor as well. I think Half Thor won that fight. He's just bigger, longer. Kind of makes sense. Maybe if Eddie was full 100%, he would have had a better chance. But Half Thor is just a longer, bigger fighter, so it makes sense why he won. Both don't have too much experience in boxing. And when that's the case, size matters. So the length played a factor. But yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, folks, any questions you may have at all, feel free to ask. Any questions whatsoever. UFC, anime, whatever the case may be.
Mm.
See.
Wait.
Yeah, Half Thor won due to points. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, going back to the third rate Kage, fourth rate Kage surviving C4. C4 is a very high AP ability, obviously. Very high impact.
Yep.
Very, very high destructive capacity. Could they survive that? I mean, the destructive capacity of the Rasen Shuriken is quite high. Well, not destructive capacity, I should say the attack potency. Because the radius of the Rasen Shuriken's effect isn't too large. It's very potent, though. So if the Reikage, the third, was able to withstand that, and that destroys you on a cellular level, I could see the third withstanding C4. Possibly. Yeah, I would see that. The fourth, I would imply is superior to his father. I know for sure in terms of speed. Durability is more contentious, but in terms, I would say most likely durability as well. So I think the third for sure, probably not for sure, but the third most likely would withstand it, and the fourth probably would withstand it. So they both knocked each other down multiple times. Yeah, I saw it in the highlights. It was close. Have y'all watched the anime Overlord? I've heard of Overlord, but I've never seen it. What if Neji got the Venom symbiote? The Venom symbiote is from what I can recall, it's quite the amplification. Look at Spider-Man. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's a amp, yeah.
yeah, I mean, look at Spider-Man when he gets the Venom symbiote. He gets stronger, faster, reaction times increase. His willingness to inflict harm goes up. Like, so Neji would simply get faster, stronger, more durable, quicker reaction times, and that would be very beneficial to his attack style. He's a close quarter guy. All that would get faster, more potent. Who knows? Maybe with the amp he gets, he'll be able to literally penetrate people's bodies with his 64 bomb because he's so strong at that point. He'd be just a monster. If he was in the tuning exams,
Is the two weaknesses it has,
sound,
which is sound and fire. But
yeah, sound would be a problem. Yeah, like the sound ninja, that'd be a fucking problem, dude. Like one
yeah,
guy that has
sound, or even fire style users.
The one guy that has like the sound blasts, I forgot his fucking name, Zaku or some shit.
Yeah, Zaku. Yeah, Zaku.
Yeah. That'd be fucking Neji's fucking kryptonite. So that's not.
You just get blitzed before you do it.
But yeah, but Neji would just blitz him. So Overlord's peak animation is a little awkward.
In order to use to exploit the weaknesses. So
yeah, Neji would have a good chance of winning the tuning exams at that point.
Oh yeah, he would definitely win if he had.
Yeah, I don't think 5-gate sleeve would be shit to him at that point. Even 5-gate sleeve would get slammed.
Only Saw fire style could be able to do something, but it just wouldn't hit. He'd just be way faster and more powerful.
Way faster, yeah.
More durable as well. Durability goes up crazy.
Overlord
like a KCM cloak.
Yeah, Overlord is peak. Yeah, I've heard good things about Overlord though. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have, feel free to ask. But yeah, I guess that debate stirred up more controversy than we thought. Actually, I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's Discord. What's going on now? Thanks for coming in. Any questions you folks may have, man, any at all, feel free to ask. Current events, anime, combat sports, conspiracies, whatever the case may be. Let's see here. What do you guys ask? I'll go back to Discord and see if anyone's asked anything. Let's see. I think that's all the questions they asked. I think that is all for the pre-established questions. Yeah, any questions you folks may have. You said we react to video. You react to videos if we DM you and stuff. Yeah, for donations, depending on the video, yeah, we'll react live. I mean, yeah, and also I do custom videos as well. Like you can DM me and we could work out like a reaction video or even an original video. I could do myself or whatever. So yeah, I do all that stuff. Live, custom original video. So yeah. But yeah, folks, also feel free to ask me about Bleach. Just finished watching the video earlier. Amazing episode. JJK, been reading it. I'm about 50 chapters away from completing it. What are your thoughts on Russia's invasion of Ukraine? This is what I'll say about that. I'll admit my ignorance to it, and I'll say this about war and propaganda. So opposing sides will only tell you. What I mean by the side is media. The mainstream media will only tell you what they want you to hear, right? So I'm sure I don't know remotely the whole story and the catalyst for the war. So I'm not going to just flat out say Russia is malicious and Ukraine's a victim. I don't know anything about it. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it's not. I'll say simply put.
Unfortunately, when it comes to medias and everything, they love to fuel the fire and paint, false narratives or, you name it, whatever. Not always, but they like to do that sometimes. So they'll leave certain context out or this and that, and so it could be something totally elsewise. But that's why the majority could be appealing to ignorance and everything. So
yeah. As far as
that's
Russia,
what it
as far as the Russian-Ukraine war, from what I do know, I'm not gonna get too into it because it's extremely political, but Russia has some substantiated reasons to do what they're doing. That's all. I'm not gonna say they're right, but from what I've seen, again, I'm not knowledgeable on it. Seems they have reasons to do what they're doing. It seems cruel when we're just looking at it from a blind eye, like holy shit, they're bombing Ukraine and shit. Like it seems, of course, it's tragic.
Yeah, I feel like the extreme measures are a little ridiculous, like what they're doing and all that. But then again, I don't know everything about it. All I do know is like that clearly everybody's on board that Russia is a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And then two, like they were just escalating things like to these crazy extremes and just didn't need to go that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
War. What I acknowledge, I think Russia did political conversation meetings with Ukraine, but the guy in Ukraine said, "You fuck off, like we don't care." And then that's when he got pissed off and conflict started.
What I know of Putin is he's a hard bargain. Like he won't negotiate very easily with you if he wants like something done his way, a policy established his way. He's gonna make sure it happens that way, and he's willing to go to some far measures. And Ukraine is, a neighboring entity, and he doesn't respect Ukraine that much, in comparison to like a superpower. Maybe he'd be more willing to compromise if it were the United States or China. But yeah, I admit my ignorance on that, and I'll say it seems from what I've read. Again, I don't know if it's even, credible because who knows? It's hard to deem what's credible and what's not. I'd say it seems Russia has the right reasons, but again, I don't know that much. So, what about a 17-minute video and stuff? How much? First of all, I'd have to know what the video is because obviously there's some things we can't react to, like anime and stuff. Like we'll just get kicked off. So, but yeah, folks, any questions you may have at all, including current events, try to answer them at best of my ability. I know more about
my whole thing.
I know more about domestic current events. I know some like as far as foreign events, like the Ukraine war and stuff like that. I have some knowledge on it, but current events here, even politically, I have some knowledge on, more so than foreign.
All I really know with that whole thing is like at least from what I know and what all the media is and blah blah has been showing that from my knowledge with that, it looks like Russia is blatantly in the wrong, blah blah, you name it. And fucked up, and then even the U.S. Apparently they were like aiding Ukraine and like sending them all kinds of stuff, you name it, blah blah.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's on the side of Ukraine. So from everything I know about it and what I've heard, it's more like Russia's the bad guys and Ukraine they're just defending themselves, and that's basically all it's been so far from what I've heard knowledge-wise.
Yeah, politics is messy. It's a messy field of discussion, man. It's one of the messiest because morality is involved, and whenever morality becomes involved in compromise, it gets real messy. Yeah, real messy.
Yeah, with all that knowledge and everything, and basically Ukraine being looked at as if they're the victims and everything, blah blah. Obviously, with that knowledge, I'm going to say like I think Russia's the bad and Ukraine they're just defending whatever. But that's just what I know. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't get into politics.
Yeah, I mean,
all that
foreign affairs. Yeah, foreign affairs. I never really get involved. Maybe like domestic, like the elections and stuff. I'm more into that. But yeah, foreign, it's real messy. Diplomacy is extremely messy. Having sex with a pregnant woman is probably the most disgusting sexual act besides rape and pedo shit, especially if it's not your baby. That's just weird. Yeah, I agree. It's not appealing to me.
Well, I don't know about that being worse than freaking pedo. Like, I think that is definitely by far the worst shit
Yeah.
to do anything with a fucking kid and whatnot. But what's it called? But I guess like, people having sex with a woman that's pregnant, like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, for me, I think it's weird
yeah.
too.
I'm
I
not.
would
First of
never
all, I'm not
do
even
that
like it's not appealing to me at all. Yeah. So to me, it's
Yeah,
to each their own. I guess if she wants to, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
yeah, it's weird.
It's weird shit. Like if she's down for that, I guess. If you're both down, whatever. But yeah, it's not something I would do.
Yeah, like I do think the R word and pedos and stuff. I think that's way more worse than
Yeah, of
extreme
course.
stuff.
Yeah, that shit is disgusting. But yeah. So yeah, folks. Any questions you may have? Even political. Well, mostly the domestic is what I know, but well, not what I know.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
expert on
we
it,
don't
but
political stuff either, guys. Like we're not saying you can't ask or whatever. It's just we just don't have a lot of knowledge in those areas.
yeah, not as
So,
much as like obviously like what we do. Yeah.
like we're just basically spitballing what we do know and this and that, and for all we know, we could just be blatantly ignorant and not really know the full thing. So
Yeah, especially
it's kind of like reading 50 chapters of Naruto and then talking about Naruto. Like there's only so much you can do at that point.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have? As far as politics, I know the elections are wrapping up. It's gonna be an interesting election term, I should say. Um,
Mm,
it's gonna be interesting to see the indictment with Trump and all that shit. RFK and him probably being the candidate for the Democrats, and it's an interesting race. Biden, what he will do, being 80,000 years old and still being pushed to run, even though he's on death's door, it's crazy. So, we'll see. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have, any at all? Current events, anime, UFC, boxing, conspiracies, any at all. But yeah, going back to Bleach, great episode. Honestly, almost 10 out of 10. It was pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie, it was one of the best things I've seen. Do you think sites like Kick and Rumble have a chance to become competitors to YouTube and Twitch, or at the very least, a sustainable alternative? That's a good question. So Kick, I think, definitely has a chance. They have recruited some of the biggest streamers on the face of the earth, like Aiden. He's massive. I believe Kai too. If not, I'm not sure. I think Kai was signed as well. I know Rice Scum as well. They have a lot of firepower as far as marketability now. They have a really good chance. As far as Rumble, they have Tate. He's one of the biggest names on the planet, marketing wise. They have a harder time. I think their reach isn't as great. I feel like they've had like these negotiation, like bargaining battles with Rumble, and Rumble with Kick, and Kick's beating out Rumble most of the time. I think they tried to get guys like Aiden, guys like Rice Gum, but they just didn't have the finances for it. Like Kick has a fuckload of money. They're giving Aiden like 50 million for 5 years or some shit. They have like NBA money. I think they have a lot of lobbyists and like investors in that company. Rumble really doesn't. They have Tate, of course. They have other guys like that, but Kick has a real chance of beating out Twitch. Maybe in the next I would say the next 3 to 5 years, there's a good chance Kick overtakes Twitch, so especially with Twitch's this bullshit censorship policy. As far as Rumble, they have a tough battle. Tough battle. If they would have gone Tucker, they had a really good chance of getting Tucker Carlson, but obviously he's on Twitter now, or X. That would have been a big win for Rumble, but Twitter just pays big, man. So Elon Musk,
yeah. What I
Tucker
know
Carlson.
currently, what I know currently is like there's apparently a lot of content creators that are putting more controversial, more sensitive stuff on Rumble in comparison to YouTube.
Yeah, way more.
Or there's even like that are transitioning from YouTube to Rumble because they're just so tired of like no equity and all the bullshit YouTube's doing and how they pick and choose, or people getting demonetized for no reason at all and yada yada, or them being extremely fucking vague and penalizing, and then they won't even give you why you were penalized to begin with. They just like, oh, you violated this. It's like, all right, well, show me the proof then. Like yada yada. Like, so there's all of that going on to where actually a lot of people are like, fuck YouTube.
Yeah.
And let's just go to Rumble. And when it comes down to it, like for instance, I can just give one example. Obviously, when you're talking about like trans people or LGBT stuff or any of that stuff, whatever, blah blah, people are very very sensitive to it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you go making a video and talking about it and giving your subjective views of it, or even utilizing like objective stuff, whatever, blah blah, and just going about it. Bottom line is, if you say something that pisses somebody off, or better yet, it's because it's so controversial and sensitive. YouTube just doesn't want to deal with no drama, no bullshit. They'll just fucking shit on you, and that's it. You're done. So if it's coming down to things like that, people are like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go to Rumble because they're chill, they're cool." You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. So,
yeah, and
there's that too.
another negative aspect for Rumble is in comparison to Kick, it has a negative social stigma because YouTube and Rumble are looked at as like the left and right social media platforms that are competing. Kick is not looked to as like, oh my god, this is the next right wing big platform. It's just looked to as like it's literally just looked to as a streaming alternative where you could say what you want. It's not necessarily politicized.
Yeah.
Like Aiden accidentally posted like fucking porn on Kick and he didn't get banned for it or some weird shit like that. And on Twitch you fucking get banned for just doing the smallest of things. So
That's it.
yeah, he did that for fucking
Yeah,
porn.
Twitch, YouTube, they're just so fucking
like the battle between the battle between Twitch and Kick isn't political. It's simply just Twitch doesn't let you say shit, Kick does. Rumble and YouTube is more political. And because there's politics involved in this battle, not only are viewers going to be less willing to come to Rumble, because maybe a lot of them are left-wing, they're like, oh, fuck Rumble, we're not, fuck the Republicans, but also streamers are going to be less willing to go to Rumble, because if they sign with Rumble, they know what comes with that is they're inevitably going to be looked to as right-wing, and they know they're going to lose some of their viewership because of that. While as opposed to going to Kick is just another streaming fucking platform. Kick is not like, oh, come here and we're free speech. Like, they're just a fucking streaming platform. So that's why Raskin probably went. He was probably thinking, oh, fuck, nah, I'm not going to go to Rumble and I lose half my audience because they're left wing, or Aiden or XQC. You know, so that's another big negative aspect for Rumble trying to beat YouTube.
Pros and cons, man.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
Like, I'm not going to lie.
Like, another.
Yeah, like if I was a streamer, I'd probably sign to Kick. This is more marketable. Like if I'm on Rumble, some of my audience is gonna be like, "Oh my god, he's a fucking Republican" or some shit, and then I lose some of my audience.
Think about it this way. Think about it this way, Jay. What are you gonna care about more? Having a bigger audience and getting more money, or being able to speak more of the truth, you know, or speak of what is actually correct?
Yeah.
But having to appeal. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what you're choosing in between. And I'm gonna be real with you. Don't get me wrong. I love the truth too. Or I love when we have to like keep the facts, you know, and like be like when facts matter more than emotions and yada yada. Don't get me wrong, I'm all up for that too. But at the same time, when it comes to my life, paying the bills, you name it, yada yada yada, I'm sorry. You best believe I'm more likely going to be going with more membership and the money, because regardless that the truth does matter, or being at least have to have the free will to say whatever or say when stuff needs to be said. Don't get me wrong, that is important. But at the same time, the world is so fucked up that it's such a mess that it's not even really worth doing that in the process, because no matter what, it's a no-winning situation. Even when you are like maybe X or doing this or doing that, at the end of the day, you're still going to be falling under a certain spectrum, and you're just going to get fucked over. Like at the end of the day, nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to be there for you. You got to do what's best for you at the end of the fucking day. You know what I mean? So like, that's what you pick. You got to pick your poison, you know?
Exactly. And
so
if you just look at the pros and cons for Rumble and Kick just has more benefits. The money, first of all, which is like the main thing to even make content. Secondly, there's less negative stigma. Like, oh, I'm not going to be looked at as a right wing. I'm not going to be on. I'm not going to be in this tribe where the other tribe hates my fucking guts, shit like that. So Kick is just the better alternative. They have a really good chance of beating Twitch and becoming the next streaming like superpower. So Rumble has a tough fight.
One thing that's funny though, Jay, is like because let's be real, we'll even like call out all the bullshit too. Like Twitch and YouTube just be tripping at times though. Like Twitch, there'll be girl, like especially when it comes to women, it's insane. To where like fucking there could be a girl getting her fucking back blown out on Twitch. She gets like a 2-day suspension. Then you have a black guy that drops like a fucking curse word or talks about something controversial, and he gets banned.
Yeah.
Like just banned. That's it from Twitch. It's like, how the fuck does that work, bro?
And that's why they're going to. That's why they're going to Kick. They're like, fuck that shit. I'm going to Kick, bro.
Yeah, or if there's a girl that's over here like breaking all the guidelines, saying things she shouldn't be saying, or playing something she shouldn't be playing, or better yet, doing what they normally do, showing their bodies, or or their fucking tits hanging out, or whatever, blah blah, yada yada, you name it. And Twitch does absolutely nothing, or just gives them a little slap on the wrist, and then they're like only for a couple days or whatever. Then you have all these other men that literally get banned for something extremely small and trivial, like not even bad or crazy. Yeah. They're not showing something naked or this. Twitch or that. It's just something so stupid, and they get banned.
Twitch is literally picking and choosing. So is YouTube, to be honest. But y'all like Trump. So With Trump, I'm more of a fan than not. I think that he can be a little divisive in his rhetoric sometimes. Like he has a fucking cult following. First of all, like the followers that follow him are ruthlessly loyal to. They're ruthlessly loyal to him. I'll say that. He's done well, but I think his rhetoric can be divisive. Like he's like, oh, it's us against them. Like he's like pitting people up against each other, which I don't agree with.
Very well.
Yeah. I think his rhetoric should be more neutral. Like he should just say we as Americans rather than like, oh, the left is trying to destroy us and shit like that. Like that will not maximize his popularity. Like if I were running, I'm not a fucking politician, but I wouldn't use divisive rhetoric like that. Because it creates tribalism. Biden, I mean, the left does the same shit. Fucking Hillary did it. Biden's old ass did it. But overall, I like Trump more than not. I think he makes the hard decisions, especially when he was in office, like things that needed to be done regardless of what people thought. He would speak the truth and not sugarcoat things, which I think the left does more than the right. Overall, I like him more than not, but there are some things I think he should change. That's what I would say.
He's just not like great at as a morality figure, and as a person, he is horrible in that category.
Yeah.
But when it comes to logical things or certain things that like just then at the end of the day, you got to give credit when it's due. But when it comes as a people pleaser and all that, and just who he is as a person morally wise, he's just a shit show.
Yeah.
And then he has all this shit in the background with him being arrested. He has the FBI investigating him. He has all this shit, and there's just so much, bro, and all these other red flags. And
he's not like a Reagan or like a JFK, like a stand-up guy. I mean, JFK had his own demons. He cheated on his wife and shit, but he was a stand-up guy during his time. Reagan was like a great communicator. He's not one of those guys. He's good. He's all right. But I wish there was like a Republican candidate that just like blew up, like a guy that's a stand-up guy. I guess that's what we all wish. But yeah. Have you seen any of the Underworld movies? I've seen a couple, but I think I haven't seen them in years, like the older ones when I was a kid. Kick signed XQC. Yep, they did. A lot of money too. Yeah, a shitload of money, like NBA money, like a max contract in the NBA. You ever think of streaming games for chill streams? Yeah, we were talking about that last stream, and also we forgot we were gonna bring that up this stream. So some individuals were asking if we should play zombies, like Call of Duty Zombies, on a stream, and we said for the right incentive we do it. So if there's an overall sum of 100. We'll do it. The next stream, we'll do a zombie stream, and if it kills it, we'll just do it. We won't even ask for donations after that. We'll just do it anyway because it does well. We just want incentive, and we want to know people actually want it. We don't just want to waste our fucking time and then like nobody watches. So, $100 donation, like overall, it doesn't have to be one person. We'll make it happen.
If you guys like, because at the end of the day, we're doing stuff to like
doing it for you guys.
At the same
we want to please you guys.
Do shit.
Yeah.
Reason, you know what I mean? Like, so if we're gonna play something and it gets no fucking views or nobody gives a fuck or whatever, why are we gonna do that?
Yeah,
it just makes no sense. Even if we enjoy it, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We might as well do that on our own time.
Yeah, might as well just replay privately. Yeah.
Feel like it, just for shits and giggles. So it's like there needs to be incentive value, and it's like, and I can completely understand it as well on my end because, like, I'm eventually, for me at least, future wise, I'm going to be getting to a point where I'm only going to be really doing things that actually has value and profit, because I can do things all day, every day. Because there's also another side of it to where you can do things that people actually really do like, but they're not giving enough to what you should be getting out of it. And when it comes to that, if the audience is only really winning and not really the content creator, it's like, what's the fucking point as well?
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
like
that's not.
Yeah, like $100 will let me know. Yeah, they really want us to do it. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So for 100, next stream we'll do it. Fuck it, do it next stream. If you guys really want to send the full thing, you can just go to Streamlabs or Cash App. It's in the description. It'll go to us, and then we'll know for sure. Okay, you guys want it. Yeah. So.
You guys know how I am. I have gaming content, and I'll have like Let's Plays and shit and whatnot. So if you want to get like a lot of stuff like that, you could always go on mine. But if you want that shit from Jay, because you probably haven't seen it yet, and I'm gonna be real, it'd probably be hilarious too.
Yeah.
And just some incentive, get some, either sub or or send some money, whatever. And like I said, if you guys love it, we'll do it more consistently.
Yeah,
So,
and if it's like a hit, we'll do it anyway. You guys won't need to donate again.
so we can have gaming streams. We can have streams like this. Obviously, nothing will change.
There has to be incentive. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Boruto's newest chapter? 1 through 10, solid 9. Very, very good. It's a great opening transition chapter to what's to come, for sure. It's whack how it is controversial to people when Trump says that I just want people to stop dying when talking about Ukraine and Russia. Oh my god. Dude, it doesn't matter what he says, they'll say it's controversial, dude. You're right about that. I've seen that clip, so I know what you're talking about. He can say whatever, and they're like, oh my god, how dare him? Like, what did he say? Do you want people to keep dying? I don't understand that. It's fucking weird, dude. I agree with that. The left wing mainstream media is just fucking full of shit. Another clip I saw, it was hilarious, was Trump predicted this. He was in this hot room, it was like 100 degrees in there, and he's like, I don't want meat. I already know the left wing media is gonna say that I'm not well because I'm sweating, even though it's fucking 105 degrees in here. And guess what MSNBC did the next day? Oh, he doesn't look well. He's he's profusely sweating, and it does not look well for his health. Like trying to downplay like his competency for office. And Trump literally fucking predicted that. Like, dude, you do not give the guy a fair shake. Yet you let Biden take 20 minutes to say a fucking sentence on live television. Like, come on, man. Are you fucking serious? That's fucking hilarious, man. Heavy Sasuke versus 6K guy. 6K guy? That's a good question. 6K guy was able to ward off a 30% chakra clone of Kisame. That's all we really see from the guy. Actually, I believe in the manga he uses a 6 gate when he's during the war arc as well. But in the anime he uses a 7th gate. So if it's a manga, probably 6 gate guy. He's competing with V2 and Cherokees. His speed would be quite quick. Heavy Sasuke was able to beat Datara, stalemate him. But I don't see Datara having too much success against 6 Cherokees. It's contentious though, because Datara is an Akatsuki, and the prerequisite to be Akatsuki is you do have to be Biju level. I would lean towards 6K guy in the manga, and in the manga and the anime, probably Heavy Sasuke, because 6K guy all we have is 30% chakra clone Kisame. So Trump has that precog. Yeah, he does. He does have that precog. He's dead ass does. He even said, this is his bullshit, but he's like, they're gonna come after me. They're gonna come after me. They're not gonna let me run. So the indictment shit. That's all like a whole other can of worms I don't get into, but a lot of it's political bullshit. Shit from 20 years ago. Like, a lot of these presidents did the same shit, if not worse. You never try to indict them. What the fuck? The Biden family is as corrupt as they come. He's fucking in office, and his son is still walking free. This is a lot of political bullshit, but yeah, it's hilarious. What if there was a zombie outbreak in Naruto? Who do you think would be infected first? Probably the fodder people, like Ino and shit, Sakura.
Yeah, Naruto would be. He would just heal. He wouldn't ever turn.
Yeah, you can even argue that he's immune, depending on the virus itself. Like, if the virus is like a blood thing, like, you could argue that the fucking Ninetales chakra would like kill the virus or some shit.
If it's a chakra virus,
the chakra virus,
yeah, fucked. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, he'll be a zombie regardless.
Yeah, then everybody's fucked at that point.
Yeah, everybody's fucked.
Yeah.
But if you have healing regen like Hashirama or Naruto and whatever, blah, blah, like, we have prime examples like Wolverine and Deadpool in the Marvel zombie apocalypse, and they were the only ones that were fine.
Yeah.
Because they could get bit and then heal, and then they can't turn.
Yeah, it would like certainly depend on the properties of the virus. If it's like a physical transmission where it's like it slowly turns you into the zombie, maybe like The Walking Dead, then someone like Naruto would probably heal from it. Like Kurama's chakra would like kill the virus, and then people that would be susceptible to it would be like Sakura, guys like that are not very that don't have very potent chakra, like Shikamaru.
Even Lobo in the DC zombie apocalypse, like the anti-equation was basically used, and it basically just made people like eating zombies in the DC verse, and get bit or scratch your fuck. But Lobo, he was Deadpool and Wolverine. He has healing regeneration and like broken ass durability as well. Like, he's super fucking powerful.
Yeah.
But he's basically Deadpool the DC verse, in a sense, if that helps. But like, he just immediately healed. Got bit or whatever, or fucked up, and he would just heal, and then he was fine.
Yeah.
So.
Now, if it was chakra based and it was quick, like I guess an example would be like maybe The Last of Us. Well, that's not. That takes time actually. It takes a couple hours. Maybe like one of those zombie movies. I think World War Z was quick. Like you get bit and then you're fucked. I think. I don't remember how
Yeah,
that
and
movie
it's like
went.
it's,
Yeah, if it's like that, a lot the Naruto verse is gonna fall, unless like
yeah,
maybe Madara like like continentally obliterates an entire village and like slaughters and like is able to quarantine the zombies. Someone that's extremely powerful would have to quarantine them. Someone like Hashirama or fucking maybe someone like maybe
Naruto could always do it. I don't, you know,
yeah, like
whatnot
Naruto.
to
Yeah,
help.
Naruto would be a good guy to stop it. Someone like Deidara, like leveling an entire fucking city with his C4 or some shit. Maybe could
Yeah.
like quarantine the virus. But there's a good chance, depending during what point in history this happens, that the Naruto verse is fucked. Like if it's part one, everyone's fucked. It's
Yeah.
probably more likely.
Yeah, if it's chalk oriented, then that they're more like, and we even see that further in Boruto. Like when Naruto got a chakra illness similar to Itachi, and whatnot, like fucking, he was fucked. Like not even the Nine Tails could save him.
Yeah,
Like
he was fucked.
fucking, Kakashi had to figure out some way and find something to like be the magical fucking bullet, and then there you go. So once again, if it's chakra based, like even in Boruto, like there's nothing that Nine Tails could do.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. So it definitely depends on the properties and the nature of the virus, for sure.
And he's six pack, and he still couldn't fucking heal or change that shit.
Yeah,
Like we saw Naruto like fucking give Kakashi a whole entire fucking eyeball, and then he gets a chakra illness, and because it was chakra oriented, not even his six path shit could help him. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
ridiculous.
At that point, everyone would be fucked. Yeah, and think of this: imagine if someone like the Red Kage gets infected, everyone's fucked. Like I mean, most people are
Oh,
not.
that's like Flash.
Yeah.
Like the Flash being in
Fucking Flash being sick. Like, imagine you getting blitzed by a fucking zombie Raikage. If you're not like 6 pass or like Minato plus, you're fucked. You're getting blitzed.
like Batman had a famous saying that he even had a contingency plan for this. Like the disease storyline is actually really fucking cool. But Batman literally was technically prepared for it in a sense, and he even said like Flash, like if there is ever like a zombie apocalypse or some type of disease that can spread or whatever by certain means, you have to be isolated and contained, because if you turn, the entire world in a blink of an eye is done, like just gone. That's it. There's nothing. You know what I mean? Like we're fucked. So like he even said like himself, and like even had to like lock his bitch ass up. Like nah, you staying in here. We ain't taking any fucking chances,
Yeah.
because otherwise that's it. You know?
Yeah, like someone like the Raikage would spread that shit like wildfire. So it would be really bad, depending on the virus, dude. Yeah, it definitely would be fucking crazy. I think he changes in
That's a
between.
good topic.
Yeah, that's actually a really good topic.
Naruto.
I think he changes
Yeah.
in between his 6th and 7th gate, but against the Jinchuriki guy, use the 7th, use the 6th gate then. Yeah.
Nah,
Wolverine-
hey, James. Guy using a zombie as guy to
Oh,
use
fuck.
the eighth gate.
Oh, fuck. Everyone's fucked. It just
Six
blit-
pass fucking speed, bro. Just go.
Imagine like he can't die either. Like he doesn't take any damage.
Literally.
He's fucking blitzing everyone.
He just
Jesus.
has infinite eight gates.
Oh god, yeah, the verse is done for at that point, man. Unless you're like fucking.
At least Shippuden wise in
Yeah,
part
Shippuden
one.
wise,
I mean,
everyone's
if it's
fucked.
still like, Boruto, then Naruto can still be the saving grace. But.
Yeah. Wolverine and Deadpool did become zombies. Yeah, they did. Right. Thoughts on Drake's?
Yeah, they do.
Thoughts on Drake
There's
coming
a
out?
certain limit.
Yeah. Thoughts on Drake coming out as gay? He came out as gay. I didn't know that. I wouldn't care if he's gay. His music still his music still slaps.
Yeah,
But
I don't care either way.
I don't really care. But his music slaps regardless. But if he did, that's crazy. Yeah. I think there's a couple.
Yeah, no.
rappers-
Back to the Wolverine and Deadpool thing though, like I never said they can't turn into a zombie. Like if they have enough exposure, they can, because then their regeneration just can't keep up. The reason why they actually eventually turn, I don't remember with Deadpool, but with Wolverine, like he got bit like by so many goddamn zombies that it just his body, his regeneration capacity just couldn't keep up. But like if he gets bit like once or by like 10 times, if it, whatever, but if it's not enough, he just regenerates and he's fine. But like if there's a whole fucking swarm on him, you know what I mean? Like then yeah, no, he's fucked.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Drake's my favorite artist though. He's been my favorite artist since I was like a kid. That wouldn't change shit, but I'm not surprised he came out. I mean, I'm not too surprised. He's not like the epitome of masculinity or anything, but yeah, I don't care. Yeah, folks. Any questions you may have at all? Any questions at all? We'll go for about another 20 minutes. We'll depart. There is a UFC fight that's going to start soon. I don't want to miss that. So, the UFC 292, O'Malley versus Sterling, and I don't want to miss that fight for sure.
Nice.
That's gonna be a great fight. But yeah, folks. Any questions at all? Let me go to the Discord. But yeah, folks. Me and Batman will. I mean, no, unless someone pays, we will probably watch it on someday while we watch the debate again privately, and maybe we'll. No, I doubt our conclusions will change, but we'll look it over again in the future. Fairy daughter, or cuck son. Dude, for my furry daughter has a better chance of success. To be honest, I'll take that over a cuck son,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. If my son's
especially
a cuck,
by society view
yeah,
acceptance, yeah.
she'll still be able to get a man. You know, men have low standards these days. She'd still be fine. You know, so furry daughter.
Should be money wise, you name it. Yeah.
Yeah, cuck son. I mean, he's fucked.
What's it called? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's fucked in all kinds of ways. Like social media wise, acceptance, made fun of, you name it. Even his mental capacity is going to be very conflicted or could potentially go all over the place. But look at Adam 22. Like, he was acting all tough about it, and then he started actually fucking tripping.
Yeah,
exactly. And being really pissed off. Yeah. It's inevitable. It's like people always try to deny it or whatever. But it's very, very inevitable. It's extremely rare for somebody to do that and then not give a fuck. But what's it called? But I sent you a thing in your DM real quick, Jay, on that if you want to bring that up for the stream, because I saw that on Facebook. I was like,
oh yeah, that's a good thing. So it's a picture of between John Jones and George St. Pierre, the two greatest UFC fighters in history. They're definitely in that rare era as the greatest, like in the goats. As far as the goat, though, John has had a longer reign of dominance than GSP. GSP dominated a couple years, and he actually left the sport because of he just didn't want to do it anymore. Jones, he dominated for an entire decade. Like the 2010s was his era. And then he came back again and beat fucking the heavyweight champion, and he's still undefeated. He's never. Now the fights where the only ones that are fucking contentious was Alexander Gustafsson, and he fucking righted that wrong. He beat the shit out of him in the rematch. And then there's a Dominic Reyes fight where it was really close. I thought John won. I thought he won rounds 3, 4, and 5. A lot of people thought Reyes won rounds 1, 2, and 3. But I think when it's that close, they usually give it to the champ. So I still thought he won. I think John's the greatest of all time. I think GSP is top 5, probably, of all time. But those guys are some of the greatest for sure. I mean, GSP is one of the greatest easily. But Jones, I'd put Jones above him though. Yeah.
Yeah, Jones is a monster, dude.
Yeah, he's like basically like the Mayweather of our sport. So
he's just that guy.
Yeah, Khabib could have been that, but he retired too early. Khabib could have been the Mayweather of our sport. He's undefeated, but he didn't dominate long enough. He only had like 2 or 3 title defenses. So.
How do you think that would have went if Khabib went against Jones?
Well, if they were the same size, that would be a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
I think Khabib probably would. I mean, even the wrestling thing's contentious because John out wrestled fucking Daniel, an Olympian. But I'd probably conclude Khabib is the better wrestler, probably.
Yeah.
But if he's the same height, because Daniel Cormier is the same height as Khabib, I think, and he fought out the same way. If we presuppose he's the same height, it's gonna be real hard for him to take John down, to avoid his reach, to avoid his tricks. I'd probably lean towards Jones, probably outpointing him. He'd probably outpoint him and keep his distance from Khabib. He's probably one of the only rare guys that could actually negate his takedown. We've seen Dagestanians have their wrestling negated, like when Islam fought Volk. Volk actually negated his wrestling. I think John would be one of those guys. He's that damn good. So I'd say John would probably win. Khabib's best way is obviously mauling John. Like if he grabs John and mauls the fuck out and beats the shit out of him, he'll win that way. But I doubt he'd do that to John, to be honest. John could wrestle pretty fucking good, like really, really good. So
he's very good, dude.
Yeah. So probably John if they're the same size. I still think John's the best of all time, and I think Khabib didn't compete enough for me to say he's the best. He's one of the best. He didn't fight like enough guys for me to say he's the GOAT. So
monster, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Granted, you can get a manicure as a dude, but it's weird. I don't know. Drake was talking about doing his nails. Well, I guess that would lead to him being gay. But there's some guys that are not gay, like Israel Adesanya does his nails. He's not gay. Definitely not. I mean, he's a fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not my preference, but yeah, some guys like that shit. Like the black nails, some guys like doing that shit for some reason. I should have said Kanye instead of Drake. Oh, were you talking about Kanye being gay? Oh, really? Isn't he married? Would he be bi at that point?
Right, yeah, it would have to be bi then. What
yeah,
the fuck?
'cause I'm pretty sure he's married to female. His music still slaps too, man. His shit's like, especially I forgot what the album was called, The Dropout or some shit. That shit is goated. The album's goated. It has Stronger on there. It has a bunch of fire shit on there. Addresses hip hop's homophobia in 2005. Oh, I'm reading it here. Closeted, according to Azealia Banks. Who's Azealia Banks? Regardless, the music still slaps. John Jones will never be my goat. Got caught too often. For a lot of people who don't know this, I defend John, and this is why. USADA has reformed their standards, and with today's USADA standards, he would have never tested positive. And the reason for that is because USADA's technology to catch PEDs got so advanced that they were catching guys for minuscule amounts of PEDs that are not even consumable. Like, you can't even intentionally consume the amount that's inside of you. And that's what happened with John when it came to the Turinabol, because they had a pulsing effect, essentially meaning that his body was pulsing this PED, but the minuscule amounts that were inside of him were indigestible. Like, if proportionally, someone said that it's like dropping a grain of 1 grain of salt in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's how small amount of Turinabol was in his system. So there's no proof that John cheated, to me. And if USADA vindicated him, why would I go against that? You know, why would I say, oh, fuck John, he's a cheater? Is there a possibility that he maybe microdosed? Sure. But to me, it's unlikely due to his dominance and his talents. He's been that guy for over a decade. He's been that guy. So I don't think that's a reason to not call him a
makes
goat.
sense. Like, he's been like that from the beginning all the way through. Like, why? Like, I mean, like, so, like, for that exact moment, like, I don't know. Yeah, like, this is weird.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
No, if he had like Brock Lesnar levels of PEDs, then yeah, I probably wouldn't think he's the GOAT. He had like blatant high levels of whatever the fuck he was taking. Mark Hunt even sued him. He sued Brock Lesnar because he fought him on roids. He's suing the UFC too, actually. So there's that.
And then not only that, bro, like, fucking, like, another thing too, like, John Jones struggled with drugs. He had drug addiction problems.
He has
that
drug
was
problems.
one of his issues too.
Like, but that's not PEDs.
Yeah.
It's like coke and
He was
fucking
Yeah.
like alcohol, coke.
Like, he's not like Lance Armstrong. Like, it was that the fucking guy that also like cheated and got all his like
Lance Armstrong
gold medals and shit. Yeah, he's not like that fucking guy. Like, the fuck.
What's funny about that is that all the bicyclists were doing PEDs. All of them do it. And the only reason he was outed because he was the best. But literally in the bicycling, they all fucking do roids. All of them. Like, fucking.
Oh my god.
I think, like, they said, like, all the top 15 guys tested positive. I'm like, why punish them? They're all on fucking roids. Just let them all do it. I don't understand that shit.
Bro,
That I don't care about.
May
Like,
the best roid guy win. You
yeah,
know?
when the best fucking roided guy win. I don't give a damn.
Look at weightlifters. Like, weightlifters too.
Yeah.
All the steroids they do.
Oh, they all
shit,
do
you
it.
know, all the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like, we're really gonna sit here and, like, they don't fucking do that
And
shit.
they
Like,
admit it, too.
like, better get, like,
Yeah.
I've seen. Yeah, they've admitted it. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
literally seen that shit. Where
Like-
they literally they expose themselves. They're like, nah, all of us fucking do it. There's not one person
Literally.
that has had that their body.
Like Schwarzenegger,
Awesome.
Coleman, all the guys did it. Fucking,
And
yeah, they fucking all on roids, and they know it, and they admit it. I don't care. I don't really care about roids in sports unless you're in a sport where you can hurt someone. Like UFC, I don't agree with it. You shouldn't do roids. Boxing, you shouldn't do roids. Football, because you like literally clashing with like another grown man, you shouldn't do roids. But I don't really give a fuck if you're doing roids in baseball or fucking basketball or fucking bicycling. Like, I don't
because you got to think about this, like, they're all doing roids.
Yeah,
it's all
just
just
let 'em
being
all do
allowed
it.
to the rate. If nobody cares, then you might as well fucking do it. Why would you be at a disadvantage? You know what I mean?
I don't give a damn
Like-
about like those sports, like fucking golf. Do all the roids you fucking want. What the fuck? I don't care.
Literally.
Not hurting anyone. Let everyone do it. It's fair. At that point, it's fair. And if you choose not to do it, then you'll be at a disadvantage. Yeah.
Like, sure, like you can give yourself a little pat on the back and have some sense of of honor, but guess what? Like, honor is not going to give you millions of fucking dollars and a successful fucking life while
Yeah.
they're fucking doing that.
Exactly. But like UFC, you could kill someone. So yeah, I disagree with that. With the roids there, like you shouldn't. Be
No. All that's too dangerous, and they're actually strict on that. That's why they don't allow it because
literally, for guys that don't know, USADA will show around the year, like around the clock, around the year, they'll show up to your house at random times. Like sometimes they'll show up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes they'll show up at fucking 12 a.m. and at midnight. They show up at any time to make sure you're not cheating, and you have to comply, or else they'll suspect you and they'll probably say they'll classify you as a user probably, because if you say no, I don't want to take the test, and like, okay, then we're gonna assume that you're cheating and you're not allowed to compete. So they'll show up randomly throughout the year, throughout fight camp, and you literally have, even if it's 3 in the morning, you have to get up and piss and fucking do all this other shit. So I agree with that. For fighters, that might be a little extreme, like let them fucking sleep at least. But yeah, I agree. They have to be on their ass. You can't be fucking cheating and shit, man. You're gonna kill someone. So fuck that. John Jones had test levels of a teen girl while fighting. Imagine why. Yeah, that's speculative though. That doesn't prove that he was cheating. It's suspicious, but it doesn't prove anything. Even the Derek from More Place More Dates admitted that it's all just hypothesis. Can't prove it. Oh shit, it's Kanye. Look, dude, the rappers are crazy. I expect anything, even Kanye. Kanye has some mental demons, man. Like, the shit that he said, like, about, like, Hitler and shit.
That man's gone. Like, he's lost in the sauce, Jay.
Yeah, like, excluding all the gay shit. I don't care about that if you're gay, but...
Go to music artists, though. Go to music artists. But when he got into the political shit and Kim, like, he lost it, bro.
Yeah, I think Kanye has some demons, dude. Like, legitimate mental illness. Like, the shit that he says, I feel like he needs to be sedated. Dead ass. So, I'm joking about the gay shit. Oh, really? Okay, never mind. Yeah, because I didn't hear about that. I would have known, especially Drake. He's my favorite artist. So, it's not even about honor, them destroying their health long term, but hey, that's life. Yeah. Yeah. Roids can't. If you don't take roids correctly, they'll fuck up your health real bad, dude. I knew a guy in high school that was taking roids, and he was benching fucking like 300 pounds at like 16. And now his body's a fucking mess, dude. First of all, he's a shell of himself. He probably weighs like 130 soaking wet. He's a fraction of what he once was, and it's because he took roids incorrectly. He didn't have a professional doctor giving him the right dosage. He would just fucking spam roids into his system, and he was strong as fuck in high school. But now, he probably can't even bench a plate. That's what happens when you fuck up. You fuck your body up. You're taking...
Oh, it has cons. You're taking a risk, dude.
Yeah. And that kid was stupid. Taking a risk. Because the kid was stupid because, first of all, a doctor's not going to approve of a fucking kid using roids. It affects your development. So he did it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, I'm going to put roids in me. I'm going to fucking be strong as fuck. Like, yeah, you had a good time in high school. Look at you now. You fucked up.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah. Not only that, everybody's bodies are different too. Like everybody has different tolerance levels and shit and whatever. So where one person can be able to get away with it and do all that in high school and still be fine and go along in the future, while some other people can't. Like it just fucks them up tremendously, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's just a good example for like why you need to do, if you're gonna do roids, make sure you do it correctly, man. Make sure you do it correctly.
Yeah, there was one dude I knew in high school. He fucking definitely did roids. Like there was all these people that naturally were big and had muscles and whatnot from weightlifting and you name it, whatnot. Like even me, what's it called? Big. It was all natural. You know what I mean? It was like we worked and gained that shit. While this dude comes in all big, squared. He's fucking just a fucking junior. Whatnot. Or he was a sophomore and junior, not even a fucking senior, and he's like the biggest fucking guy in the room. And then over here doing like crazy ass like weight shit and whatnot. And I'm like, there's no shot that this man is somehow, some way getting past the fucking drug test that we're doing in high school and all this shit. And this man is just doing all it. Like, there's no way. Like, he is taking some shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. And that kid, it was real obvious that he was doing that shit.
Like, he was on the football team and everything. He was over here just like fucking slamming people, Hulk smashing. Like, I'm like, yeah.
He was doing like 100-pound plates on each side, like 2 on each, like 3 on each side. Like, yeah, the guy's on roids. The guy's on fucking roids.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it is like you think you're like, how are they getting past the fucking drug shit, bro? Because
like,
you're forced to take drug tests.
Like I was
Yeah.
a good deadlifter, but he was deadlifting like 500 fucking pounds. I'm like, yeah, he's on roids, bro. He's on roids. Fucking 16. Unless you're
That's how
fucking,
it is, even in football.
unless you're the
Even in
next,
NFL,
like, unless you're the next fucking Eddie Hall, you're not doing that shit naturally, bro. Fuck out of here.
no.
Yeah.
Like, even in NFL, you name it, like, they all do that
Dude,
shit,
even in the
bro.
NFL,
Like,
500 is impressive. Like 500, 600 is like elite. If you're doing that as a fucking
yeah.
15-year-old, you're either a freak of nature or you're on roids. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one or the other. And that kid didn't look like a freak of nature, so definitely on roids, man.
Oh, shit.
It's not, to me, it's probable. Best COD Zombies map ever. To me,
That's hard, dude.
it's rough.
Damn.
Yeah, it's tough.
What do you think, John?
My favorite ever was Black Ops 1 in general, like the favorite COD Zombies. But favorite map within that, maybe Ascension.
Out of all of them, or Black Ops 1?
Yeah, Black Ops 1, probably Ascension.
Ascension.
Ascension was really good. Or even there, honestly, I really like Kino del Toro, and I really enjoyed that one too. Even though it's the original.
Yeah, because, like, for one, it was what? It was Moon. It
Moon.
was, and then it was Shangri-La,
Shangri-La.
right? Something like that. And then
Yeah.
and it was Kino Toro. Right? Yeah, so, like, if I had to pick out of all of those, I'm gonna be honest, they're all incredible.
Yeah,
Every
they're
single one
incredible.
of them. That's really hard. But if I had to choose, I'm stuck between either Moon or Ascension as well.
Yeah.
So it's just so unique. It was really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Do you really think the heavyweight champ of the UFC randomly got test level of a child? That's an appeal to ignorance, though, because you leave that to the experts. And what did the experts conclude? There's not enough empirical evidence to conclude cheating. So that is an appeal to ignorance. I'll leave that to the experts to conclude on that. I mean, obviously they didn't conclude he was cheating because he's still the champ. So, and there are reasons that are not steroids for that, by the way. That doesn't necessarily prove guilt. There are reasons for low testosterone besides roids too, by the way.
Yeah, UFC is extremely strict, and once again, it's a safety.
I mean,
hazard.
USADA's bringing down bigger athletes than John before. They brought down Lance Armstrong. They literally delegitimized Barry Bonds' career because he got caught with steroids. I think he got removed from the fucking Hall of Fame. I think they removed his. I think he had like a home run record. They removed that. So if they'll take guys that big and that massive of superstardom down, they would have taken down John Jones down. Yeah.
Oh,
John Jones.
for sure. They would have taken all that. They would have
Yeah.
probably fixed the win losses for everybody. You name it. Like
John-
a full
yeah.
reimbursement.
John Jones ain't special, man. So, yeah. That's an
But
appeal.
that's just super.
That's an appeal to authority. No, you're misclassifying what an appeal to authority is. That's an appeal to authority would be, for example, something that is completely unknown at all, and I just go to the experts, where the experts wouldn't even know the answer to that. So no, it's not an appeal to authority.
No, like, at the end of the day, you just gotta accept beats and everything you name it. Like, yeah, there is that little instance.
An appeal to authority,
assess
for
whatever,
example,
but-
would be like, oh, tomorrow is universal because Kishimoto says in the data book. That's an appeal to authority. This proposition I made is not an appeal to authority. They're legitimately checking.
Exactly.
They're legitimately checking levels of a superstar athlete, and that's their job. So no, it's not an appeal to authority.
Yeah.
That's not correct. But yeah, folks. Any questions you may have? About five.
They're also forgetting like how many
Yeah.
fights did he fucking John Jones have, and you're telling me like not a single one of them like he said anything or caught anything else. Like, come on now.
Yeah. About 5 more minutes though, folks. Thoughts on Noodles thinking Donzo beats Pain? Or he thinks that? No comment, man. That's all I gotta say. No comment. Not correct, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, by 5 more minutes though, folks, we'll depart. And again, $100. It can be through Streamlabs Cash App. We'll do the stream. It doesn't have to be by one person. It can be several smaller ones. We'll literally do a zombie stream next week on COD.
But no, they're gonna take that shit very seriously, Jay. Like, that's a huge negative domino effect. So like, if John was really actually cheating and bullshitting, like he would have been caught a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, he would have just been dealt with. Like, there's just so many instances they have to take all these required drug tests, you name it, blah, blah. Like it's a serious offense. You can get in lawsuits for it, this and that. Like, it's just so much paperwork and so much bullshit that nobody wants to go through that. So it's just crazy to really sit there and be like, oh yeah, John Jones cheated and like he doesn't deserve anything. Like that's just crazy. No.
Yeah, exactly. I put authorities like saying experts saying cereal for breakfast is good for you, and not doing any research yourself. Yeah, and I did research on this. Again, and I'm not an expert though, but yeah, I did research on it. There's reasons besides PEDs for why your testosterone levels could be low.
What he also needs to understand is like fucking if he's because what I'm kind of getting the vibes from right now is like, are you saying like we're more credible than a fucking doctor?
Yeah.
Like the fuck? Like, that's just retarded. Like
I should like
we don't have you know.
Like I should study advanced chemistry and biology to prove the USADA incorrect. I guess. No, that's appealing to your emotion actually.
Of course, we can do our homework and research certain things. Well, there's nothing wrong with them. That's actually good. I actually advise for people to do that as well. Don't just like always, like what Jay just said, what is actually appealing to authority. You know what I mean? Always just take it a grain of salt, you know, whatever. But let's be real though. If we have to analyze between like scientific fucking evidence and all this other shit, whatever you name it, like an astronomer, and he's over here talking about fucking space and shit, and then me and Jay try to like use the internet, right, and read or whatever, blah blah. And then be like, oh, we're more credible, and like what this and this and that. That's just retarded. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, and
like the guy's literally entire fucking life.
And I'm a big John Jones fan. I literally read like the transcript of USADA's like whole spiel on John Jones. So simple as I read it thoroughly. And again, I'm still not an expert. From what I got, they vindicated him. There's a reason why he's still fucking fighting. They test you. They test you throughout the whole year. Especially when you're a champion. Literally. Like Connor's probably been tested so many times in his career. John, GSP was probably heavily tested. The more dominant you are, the more they tend to test you. So you're telling me John hasn't been fucking tested over 100 times in his career? Yeah. And yeah. So thoughts on Noodle? Okay, I just read that. Today I attempted to ask a girl out, and before I completed doing that, she stopped me and said she has a boyfriend immediately and asked for friendship. Oh Jesus. At that point, I would say don't even waste your time and just move on to the next. Honestly,
not even worth it. Yeah.
Not worth your time. Whether she's lying or not, it's not worth your time.
Yeah, because like basically you're gonna have to work yourself and whatever and this and that, and clearly she has like certain like fucking values and shit, and like it's just way more work and it's just not worth it. Like in the long haul, if a girl's willing to do something with you, she's gonna show the interest. She's gonna be willing to make it work in a sense, whatever. When you have girls that have like very high intrinsic like values of like, you know, to where they're extremely selective and picky, or immediately jump to like some form of reasoning why they can't, it's just not worth it. Like basically think of it this way: if you find a girl that's free and looking and ready to mingle, compared to a girl that's saying she's in a whole relationship, whatever, why would you not choose the other one? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, unless you're like in love or some shit, or you really, really think she's the one, then I guess go ahead and fight for it. But
yeah, you gotta have the abundance mindset, man. Like, realize that there's just more than one chick. Yeah, it's hard to do that when you're really young. Like when you're a fucking kid in high school or middle school, you think about that one chick. You're just naive still. But once you're an adult, you need to realize, oh yeah, there's more than this girl, man.
The way around, they should be chasing you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you shouldn't be chasing them.
Like once you accept friendship, you're accepting to be an option to her. You should never be an option.
Literally, yeah. You don't want to be an option. You want to be the one. You want to be the one that she's choosing to be in love with and spend the rest of her life and this and that and yada yada. Not just someone like, is he qualified, or is he really, you know, like that's not worth it.
Yeah. He literally took hydroxychloropheniphene and letrozole metabolite, which are... They vindicated him. They vindicated. I don't know if you want to accept that. You obviously have something against him. You're appealing to your own emotion. But they vindicated him. And they said, if the standards of today were the standards of yesterday, he would have never tested fucking positive. Simple as that. Go read it. I know it's hard for you to accept that.
He really does not like John Jones. Shit.
There's always haters. Is John perfect? Fuck no. He fucking hit his wife. He's a fuck up. He's a fuck person. He's a fuck up. He's been a piece of shit for a lot of his life. I agree. But he's the greatest of all fucking time. It is what it is, man.
Right? Didn't he hit his wife for some shit?
Yeah, he like hit his wife and shit. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. You know, simple as that. But he's the greatest of all time, man. I can't deny that shit. So it's like fucking like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was a fucking asshole, but he was one of the greatest of all time. Simple as that. He would like cuss people
Look
out.
at Conor McGregor. Like even him, like he was really, really fucking great, and he was a dick to everybody.
Yeah, he was a fucking asshole too, and he was a fucking goat. He is a goat. Simple as that. Yeah, John Jones isn't GSP or Demetrius Johnson. He's not a stand-up citizen, but he's the greatest of all time. And if USADA says that if the standards of today were the standards of then, he would not test positive, then what does that tell you, man? Simple as that.
He's probably gonna hit you with the debate me this right now, Jay.
Yeah, no, you gotta pay me for that shit.
Debate me.
All those guys were assholes. Yeah, dude, most fighters are. Connor, Jones, McGregor, Tyson, Ali was an asshole to his opponents.
Now there is some that
Mayweather.
are very humble though.
Yeah, there's a very few
people.
like Pacquiao or
Yeah.
GSP. I mean, even GSP talks shit sometimes. Demetrius Johnson was really nice. Yeah, Wonder Boy Thompson. He's like the nicest guy in the UFC.
Yeah.
He still would have been banned for estrogen blockers. Yeah, I'm done addressing that.
It is the endless killer fucking shit right now with that.
I'll take USADA's word for it, man, over yours. Sorry. I think you guys make sense. I will not pursue her any longer. Rejection hurts in the moment,
but like we would literally have to sit here and say every fucking buffoon that like clearly investigated for John Jones and tested and you name it all. Like we would have to sit here and say every single one of them were wrong.
Yeah.
That makes no fucking sense, bro.
Yeah, man. There's a possibility that he cheated, sure, because he did test positive. There's a possibility, but the likelihood that he cheated blatantly is unlikely.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that means he would have been cheating from the beginning.
Yeah. USADA banned him. Yeah, with the old standards, they banned him. I already said that, dude. You're just repeating yourself. Any final questions, folks? We're about to depart. Let's see. Any final questions at all? Yeah, John Jones has been consistently dominant his entire career, even before he had money and access to steroids, if he were to have access to them. Since his 20s when he was fucking broke. I doubt he had resources like that back then. So, it's very unlikely. Any final questions, folks? We'll depart. We'll stay a couple more minutes. Let's see. Alright, folks, I think that'll be all. We got a fight to catch. John Jones is the GOAT, sorry. And yeah. UFC 292 is coming. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream.
Yes, sir.
If you guys want a zombie COD stream, like I said, you guys can feel free to go to Streamlabs or Cash App. If it reaches a total of 100, we'll do it next week, literally. You don't have to do it by then. We can do it another time, whenever you guys feel like it. Don't feel like you have to, but if you want to see that, that's all it takes, and we'll do it. Appreciate all the support.
The Shinobi one.
Yeah, well, hopefully we have Shinobi by then. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. Get us up in the algorithm. It's greatly appreciated.
Slammed. Fucking slammed. No diff. Zero diff.
Yeah, exactly. The debate shit, we'll look it over again. But we're done talking about it unless someone pays us to talk about it publicly. And if the slight chance that we change our mind, we'll admit it. But we'll eventually look it over again privately. So, we hope you guys enjoyed, folks, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.